Chapter 718. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with interesting novels to read. N. His fire attribute is indeed strong. Ordinary fire attribute cultivators won't be able to reach this level. Night Sorrow nodded. He did have such a discerning eye. After that, Liang Yu and Yun Huang began to fight each other. Both of them were fiery types. It was a head-on battle. Yun Huang was very straightforward. He had been fighting Liang Yu with his peak void inquiry stage cultivation base. Because of Liang Yu's domineering attribute, Yun Huang could not gain the upper hand at all. However, Yun Huang's speed was fast. Even Liang Yu, who had a wide range of attacks, could not gain the upper hand. After fighting for about 10 minutes, Night Sorrow called them to stop. Yun Huang was unwilling to use his Venerable Realm cultivation base. The two of them were equally matched. Let me try. Ling Long was also itching to fight. She walked towards Liang Yu with her curved blade. With the support of the protective chi barrier, Ling Long's expression changed because she felt that she was being suppressed. What's wrong with you? Cultivators of the fire attribute have no possibility of fighting me if their cultivation base is not higher than 3 levels above mine. Liang Yu said. You possess the origin of fire attribute? Ling Long's expression changed. N. Liang Yu nodded. If I use my Venerable Realm cultivation base, even if I win the battle, it will be an unfair victory. If I don't use my Venerable Realm cultivation base, I won't be able to defeat you. What's the point of the battle then? Ling Long said with slight annoyance. Are you from the Southly region? Liang Yu looked at Ling Long and asked. Yes. So what? Ling Long was very unhappy because her attribute was being suppressed. Moreover, it was being suppressed by an attribute of the same origin. Nothing. Just pretend that I didn't ask. Seeing Ling Long getting angry, Liang Yu smiled and did not say anything else. Alright, let's roast some meat and drink some wine. Night Sorrow looked at the golden bull that Tianyu had caught and said. After drinking, Night Sorrow asked Liang Yu to set up a tent. At the same time, he told him about their current cultivation method. I haven't tried it before. I'll try it with you guys later. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Liang Yu's interest was piqued. Then you'll follow the two of them. Yun Huang, Ling Long, regardless of whether Liang Yu joins our god-slaying squad or not, he's now our comrade. Take good care of him, Yishan said to Yun Huang and Ling Long. After giving his instructions, Night Sorrow entered the tent and began to cultivate. While cultivating, Night Sorrow's mind was full of questions. He did not understand why he came across the Golden Growler's body, but his harvest was huge. 1 Holy Spirit Stone was equivalent to 100 Supreme Grade Spirit Stones. What he got was a huge fortune. There were also many other materials. After daybreak, Night Sorrow began to cultivate his spear art. Now, he didn't need to enter the domain C to cultivate. His true chi was condensed enough, and the myriad Dao Tome's energy was also incomparably solid. He wanted to cultivate his true chi's control. Once he could control his true chi, he would be able to study the problem of advancement. It was only necessary to cultivate in the realm C after breaking through. In the following days, Night Sorrow cultivated his spear art and his true chi's control. Wu Lingfei came by a few times and was very satisfied with Night Sorrow's progress. Xia Lanjun and Nan Gongqing also came over, mainly because they were worried that Yun Huang and Exquisite wouldn't get along with Liang Yu. That said, they were very satisfied. As for Night Sorrow, they weren't worried. Yun Huang and Exquisite were people who didn't care about trifles. Liang Yu was also very generous. Night Sorrow had long since noticed this, and it could be seen from Liang Yu's fighting style. Liang Yu's fighting style was to press forward courageously, and his personality determined his fighting style. Because of their congenial personalities, they got along quite well. What's up with Night Sorrow? He's been practicing his spear arts for an entire day. Liang Yu, who was chatting with Yun Huang and Exquisite, asked Night Sorrow, who was practicing his spear arts in front of the tent. It's normal. He's been cultivating in seclusion for an entire month. Before you came, he was also cultivating in the Realm Sea for an entire month, Yunhuang said with a smile. That's crazy. I'll spar with him when I have time, Liang Yu said. Then you should just forget about it. During that time, the four of us fought him alone. He used a rattan to whip us until we were covered in bloody scars, Exquisite said. As for Night Sorrow, he cultivated his spear arts during the day and cultivated his soul power and bloodline talent at night. Half a month later, Night Sorrow felt that his true chi's control had reached saturation. He was ready to break through to second-level Venerable. Letting Tianyu guard him, Night Sorrow went to break through his true chi's control. With his cultivation base enough, his advancement naturally went smoothly. After one night, Night Sorrow's cultivation base reached second-level Venerable. After that, Night Sorrow continued cultivating his spear art during the day and stabilizing his true chi at night. At the same time, he cultivated his soul power and bloodline talent. 3 days later, Night Sorrow felt that his cultivation base had stabilized. With 2 spears on his back, he walked towards the Realm Sea. He planned to enter the Realm Sea to stabilize his newly advanced cultivation base. After that, he could continue eating dragon spirit pills to increase his cultivation base. Let's go. This time, you'll be able to witness our captain's strength. Seeing Night Sorrow walk towards the Realm Sea, Yunhuang waved to Exquisite and called out to Liang Yu. Ignoring the three, Night Sorrow reached the edge of the Realm Sea. Raising a protective barrier, he cut straight into the Realm Sea. What kind of speed is this? Liang Yu was shocked to see Night Sorrow leaving a trail of afterimages behind him. That's our captain. At the 5th level, he can easily kill a beginner Venerable. He can even injure a mid-level Venerable, Yunhuang said proudly. He really is powerful. That speed is too frightening. Liang Yu nodded. Night Sorrow's speed had already reached an extreme. Night Sorrow continued to charge into the Realm Sea. He only started cultivating after crossing 100 li of the area where Wu Lingfei had taken him to watch. By this time, Yunhuang and the others could no longer see Night Sorrow's figure. He's cultivating in the center of the spatial storm. Can he endure it? Liang Yu was shocked. He was very confident in himself, but Night Sorrow's display of strength made him feel both shocked and pressured. Of course he can. Don't be surprised. Just get used to it. Let's cultivate too. Exquisite shook her head. She was already used to Night Sorrow's freakish strength. Night Sorrow was currently in an area he was used to in the past, and the spacetime pagoda didn't consume too much energy. Night Sorrow shuttled through the turbulent flow of space, cultivating his movement technique and spear technique. Whenever he consumed too much energy, he would return to the spacetime pagoda to recover. Night Sorrow could sense the improvement of his innate bloodline power and soul power every day. In addition to the fact that his true chi was becoming more and more stable after being tempered, he was very excited to cultivate. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, it's been half a month and this guy still hasn't come out. Impressive. After cultivating for half a month, Liang Yu was completely convinced of Night Sorrow's strength. You're quite strong as well. You're at the 9th level of the Void Inquiry stage. You're in the same area as the two of us. That's very good. Exquisite said. It's still not enough. In the past, I thought I was very capable. But now, I feel that I'm much weaker. I still need to work harder. Liang Yu said. Chapter 719. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Captain, you're not going to raise your cultivation again, are you? Yunhuang asked Yishan. Of course. My foundation is solid and my true chi is condensed. I can control it well, Night Sorrow said. Yunhuang shook his head. Exquisite felt helpless as well. They had worked very hard, but Night Sorrow had been too fast. There was nothing they could do about it. First of all, the depth of the realm sea was different, so there was a difference in tempering. They caught a demon beast and roasted it. The four of them drank some wine together. Then, Night Sorrow went to visit Long Xiansheng and Wu Lingfei. It would take a long time for him to eat the dragon's spirit pill, so he needed to know what was going on outside. Night Sorrow didn't see Long Xiansheng. Instead, he saw Wu Lingfei and Xie Lanjun. The two told Night Sorrow that everything was normal outside, but the people of Medicine Valley had gone to Sky City. The Empyrean Terminus Tower was the most well-informed. Naturally, the Empyrean Terminus Tower knew that Lu Yangyu and Guanyi had gone to the city in the sky. Hearing this, Night Sorrow decided to go back. Wu Lingfei wanted to accompany Night Sorrow, but Night Sorrow refused. He just wanted to go back and take a look, not to fight. That's fine. If there's anything, go to Tianji Tower's headquarters. The Chief Tower Master and the Chief Supervisor are there, Wu Lingfei said. After that, Yi Shan went to the valley where Night Moon Dynasty's troops were resting and chatted with Yi Lingxie. When there was nothing else, Night Sorrow went back to the camp. He told Yun Huang and the others that he was going to leave. Let's go back together. We also need to rest. Anyway, you have a flying ship. It won't be troublesome to use the teleportation array. Also, let's bring this guy back and introduce him to everyone. Ling Long pointed at Liang Yu. That works too. Let's go back together and rest for a few days. After thinking about Night Sorrow, he agreed. After putting away Tianyu, Night Sorrow released the airship. After letting the three enter the airship, Night Sorrow controlled the airship and rushed towards Haohai City. At the same time, Night Sorrow explained the rules of the god-slaying squad to Liang Yu. Liang Yu pondered for a moment before saying, if they are good people, then I won't betray my brother. I can take a blow for my brother. Night Sorrow nodded. That was not a problem. As long as they followed the rules of the god-slaying team, everything would be fine. When they arrived at the border of Vast Ocean City's realm sea, Night Sorrow put away the airship, and the group rode their mounts towards Vast Ocean City's teleportation array. Liang Yu's mount was the Flame Feather Eagle, which was also at the peak of Tier 4. Its speed was also extremely fast. When they arrived at the Haohai City's teleportation array, they teleported to the Taiqing domain. As soon as they stepped out of the Taiqing domain's teleportation array, Night Sorrow felt a killing intent lock onto him. Hurry up and leave. Night Sorrow shouted. He activated his protective barrier and blasted his strongest spear forward. $look at the S version T chapter S section N above OT bang. After a muffled sound, Night Sorrow's body was sent flying. Only then did Yun Huang and the other two leave their original spot. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow did not dodge. If he did, that terrifying sword chi would have struck them. Hurry up and leave. Night Sorrow roared again. He activated his protective barrier and cut to the side to avoid the opponent's attack. Assassination. This guy's cultivation base is at the high-level Venerable Realm. We are no match for him. Don't distract the captain. Hurry up and leave. Yun Huang's body drew an arc as he rushed towards the Tianji Tower. He knew that it was useless for him to stay. The best way was to call for reinforcements. Ling Long also followed Yun Huang and rushed towards the Tianji Tower. She could not help Night Sorrow if she stayed. Besides, she was worried that Yun Huang would be intercepted. If that happened, there would be no one to report to. You bastard! You're too despicable. Night Sorrow, run around the sea of fire. After Liang Yu shouted, he stood at the edge of the teleportation array. Then, he waved his arm and a sea of fire appeared in the open space in front of the teleportation array. At this moment, Night Sorrow also saw the attacker clearly. It was an inconspicuous old man in a grey robe. However, the long sword in his hand was very sharp. Sword chi slashed towards Night Sorrow. At the same time, he crossed the sea of fire and chased after Night Sorrow. How dare you jump into the sea of fire? Watch me burn your balls. Liang Yu roared. His arms shook, and the flames in the sea of fire soared into the sky. Not only did they block the old man, but the flames also attacked the old man's body. Night Sorrow activated his protective barrier and cut back, avoiding the old man's sword chi attack. He knew that there was no chance of winning. The strength of a high-level venerable was completely different from that of a mid-level venerable. Liang Yu, go! Night Sorrow shouted. He was worried that the old man would attack Liang Yu. Ha! I'm on the teleportation array. How dare he attack it? I don't think he has the courage. Liang Yu laughed and shouted. At the same time, he controlled the flames to burn the old man's body. Regardless of how the flames attacked, he wanted to interrupt the old man's attack rhythm and affect his vision. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and began to run around the teleportation array's hall. Attacking the teleportation array was an act of war. If the old man attacked the teleportation array, the guards of the Taiching domain would attack. There were venerable realm guards here. The gray-robed old man did not attack the teleportation array because he would be attacked by a group of people. Night Sorrow was fast and agile. The gray-robed old man could not catch up to him. However, Night Sorrow knew that this was a crisis. Once he was caught, it would be a big problem. Night Sorrow was seriously injured after taking the old man's attack head-on. His Zhen-Qi was shaken, the tendons and veins in his arms were damaged, and his internal organs were displaced. Fortunately, his body was strong. Otherwise, he would have been killed in one move. While Night Sorrow was fighting, Yun Huang rushed toward the Tianji Tower. The teleportation array was not too far away from the Tianji Tower branch. Yun Huang shouted for help when he was not far away. When Yun Huang shouted for help, a sword chi flew toward Yun Huang. Yun Huang hurriedly waved his scimitar and slashed at the sword chi. Bang! After a muffled sound, Yun Huang vomited blood and was sent flying. At this time, Ling Long rushed over and pulled Yun Huang's body into the Tianji Tower's gate. We are the Tianji emissaries. We are being surrounded. Help! What's going on? At this time, two figures arrived in the Tianji Tower's lobby. There is a high-level venerable at the gate. He is asking for help. There is also a high-level venerable at the teleportation array trying to kill Night Sorrow. Help Night Sorrow quickly. Ling Long's face was full of anxiety. She knew what a high-level venerable was. They could easily kill a low-level venerable. Supervisor Lan, deal with the one at the gate. I will go to the teleportation array. A golden figure rushed out. He was the Tianji Tower's Gold Palace attendant, Yao Yang. He was currently guarding the Tianji Tower branch in the Taiching domain. Lan Yuxuan, who had dared to do something, rushed out of the Tianji Tower's gate and caught up with a thin old man. He was the venerable who had attacked Yun Huang. 7th level venerable, you came to assassinate our Tianji Tower's Tianji emissaries. Today, I want you dead, and the people behind you dead. Lan Yuxuan waved her long sword and fought with the venerable. Night Sorrow's crisis was getting more and more intense. The gray-robed old man was too strong. He had no chance to rest, and his injuries were getting worse. Chapter 720. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Because the gray-robed old man's attack frequency was fast and fierce, Night Sorrow didn't have any time to rest. Therefore, his internal organs were impacted and he didn't have time to recover. His meridians were also on the verge of cracking due to the violent circulation of his true chi. Love go little say, Chu. Although Night Sorrow knew that this couldn't go on, he had no other choice unless he entered the space-time treasure pagoda. However, he had been sealed all this time. Entering the space-time treasure pagoda was asking for trouble. If he used space rend, the opponent's speed would be very fast. The possibility of the attack hitting was very small. Just as Night Sorrow was about to use soul destruction / to alleviate the crisis, an opportunity appeared. Yao Yang appeared behind Night Sorrow and slashed out a few times, blocking the gray-robed old man's sword chi. A high-level venerable wants to kill my Tianji Tower's young master. You're tired of living. Yao Yang growled and attacked the gray-robed old man, resolving Night Sorrow's crisis. Liang Yu ran over and pulled Night Sorrow to the safety of the teleportation array. At this time, the Taiqing Domain's guards were guarding the teleportation array with swords in hand. Love Go Little Say, Chu, are you okay? Liang Yu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'm okay. You were attacked by a high-level venerable and you didn't even give me a chance to breathe. Night Sorrow glanced at Liang Yu and took out a drop of life spirit liquid to heal the injuries in his body. At the same time, the myriad Tao Tome and the medicine spirit's power circulated at the same time to recuperate his body. If it was me, I would have collapsed. This guy is too despicable. A high-level venerable attacked and he even assassinated him. He has no limits. Liang Yu curled his lips and said. At this time, the battle between Yao Yang and the gray-robed old man was very intense. However, Yao Yang was suppressing the other party's attacks. The long sword in Yao Yang's hand was constantly vibrating, and the sword chi he emitted carried ripples. If he really wanted to kill me, he wouldn't have given me a chance to catch my breath. If he hadn't taken the opportunity to attack me near the teleportation hall, I would have died right now, Night Sorrow said as he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Venerable to assassinate you. Liang Yu nodded. At this time, Yishan was no longer in danger because the experts of the Celestial Extreme Tower had arrived. Lin's heart's heart. Lin Yuandao attacked right away. Lin Yuandao swung his arms twice and two ripples cut off the gray-robed elder's arms. Yao Yang rushed up and punched again, shattering the gray-robed old man's dantian. Then, he grabbed the gray-robed old man's neck and pulled him in front of Night Sorrow and Lin Yuandao. As a high-level venerable, can you be more shameless? Liang Yu took 2 steps forward and stabbed his broadsword between the gray-robed old man's legs. The broadsword that was infused with fire energy was no different from a soldering iron. Love Go Little Say W, Chu following the old man's scream, the old man's crotch emitted a squeaking sound and green smoke. It's not a man's thing. You can't use a man's thing. Liang Yu's words made everyone speechless. Don't kill him. We still have to interrogate him. See which force sent him. This must be investigated. Lin Yuandao could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. Just as Lin Yuandao was speaking, the old man struggled violently and tore his robe, breaking free from Yao Yang's control. Then, he slammed his head against Liang Yu's broadsword and died. Why are you so manly at a time like this? Liang Yu was stunned. He had not expected the gray-robed old man to commit suicide like this. He can't die. Yao Yang, take his corpse and see if there are any clues. Night Sorrow, let's go. After Lin Yuandao finished speaking, he wrapped Night Sorrow in energy and rushed toward the Tianji Tower's division. There was still an assassin there, so he was anxious to leave him alive. However, what everyone expected happened. The high-level venerable who had been crippled by Guo Xiao also committed suicide. These are all death warriors. Elder Hua, Supervisor Guo, quickly go to the Qingtian region's teleportation array and the Celestial Peak Pavilion to take a look. The news hasn't spread, so if there are venerables lying in ambush, we can still catch them. Even if there are no survivors, there will still be clues. Yao Yang, go to the teleportation array in Dongxian City with Supervisor Lan and catch them. Night Sorrow and I will stay here for now. Lin Yuandao made a series of arrangements. He did not dare to act rashly, as he was worried that someone would come to kill Night Sorrow. Then, the people of Tianji Tower began to move. Night Sorrow fed Yunhuang the life spirit fluid and gave him healing medicine at the same time. Chief Tower Master, his injuries are very serious. His internal organs are ruptured, and the bones in his right hand are broken. Night Sorrow looked at Yunhuang and said, Captain, I won't die yet. It's just that I can't fight with you for a while. Yun Huang, who was in a somewhat dispirited state, said. As long as you don't die, our Tianji Tower has the ability to recover. Lin Yuandao went to Yun Huang and pressed one hand on his shoulder to help him heal. New chapter T9 plus previous chapter #ran hour later, Yun Huang had recovered a lot. Lin Yuandao was of the water attribute, so his healing effect was very strong. Lin Yuandao stood up. Hua Haining, Guo Xiao, Yao Yang, and Lan Yuxuan had all returned. Guo Xiao was carrying an old man. The old man's limbs were broken, his dantian was shattered, and his head was fixed in place. There was also a piece of cloth stuffed in his mouth, so there was no possibility of him committing suicide. Because we were afraid that he would commit suicide, we were prepared. That's why we caught him alive. Guo Xiao threw the old man's body to the ground. Yao Yang, go interrogate him. No matter what method you use, you have to get the answer. Be careful not to let him bite his tongue and commit suicide, Lin Yuandao said to Yao Yang. Yao Yang nodded and directly opened his mouth twice, knocking out the old man's teeth. Then, he carried the old man and walked to the back of the Tianji Tower branch. Supervisor Lan, follow and watch over the treatment. If you don't say anything, you can't die even if you want to. Lin Yuandao then arranged for Lan Yuxuan. Guo Xiao and Hua Haining began to look at the bodies of the other two people. Sometimes, not only the living could speak, but the dead could also speak. This is someone from the Western Nether region. The skull tattoo on his back is a custom of the Western Nether region. After this person became a death warrior, although the tattoo was destroyed, there are still traces of it, Hua Haining said after examining the body. Someone from the Western Nether region. Our Tianji Tower doesn't have much of a dispute with the Western Nether region. To be able to send such a venerable, it can only be the arrangement of a saint. Let's see which one is more specific. Lin Yuandao had a rough idea in his heart. However, he didn't find anything on the second person. There were no marks on his body except for scars. He didn't even have a storage ring. Lin Yuandao looked carefully, looking for flaws. After a while, Lin Yuandao looked at the guy's hair. Chapter 721. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. He thinks he's flawless, but his hair isn't white. It's pure silver. That's the symbol of the Qingtian region's Silver Devil clan. He should be a descendant of the Silver Dusk Saint. Lin Yuandao's eyes were filled with coldness. The one who was captured alive should be someone sent by Qin Yuan, Guo Xiao said. When Guo Xiao spoke, Yao Yang and Lan Yuxuan came out. Chief Supervisor is right. He's from the Tianfeng dynasty, Yao Yang said. Chief Supervisor Guo, take Yao Yang and accompany Night Sorrow and the others to the city in the sky. I'll take these people to see the Supreme. This matter isn't over yet, Lin Yuandao said. Then, Guo Xiao took Night Sorrow and the others back to the city in the sky. Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and Aoi were shocked to see Night Sorrow's pale face. Night Sorrow, are you injured? Sikong Chuyu helped Night Sorrow to sit down and said. Yes, I was ambushed. It's nothing, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Who's so shameless? Yang Lei was very angry. At the same time, she grabbed Night Sorrow and checked his injuries. Love go little Sei Wang, Chu, 6th senior sister, Yun Huang's injuries are more serious than mine. Get him some healing medicine in the next few days, Night Sorrow said to Aoi. 6th senior sister, you don't know. Captain was ambushed by a high-level venerable. If we were the main target, we would be dead by now, Ling Long said. You don't have to worry. This time, Tianji Tower will make a big move. If the young master is being assassinated by a high-level venerable, it won't be Tianji Tower. Guo Zhao's face was full of murderous intent. This time, the other party's actions had crossed the bottom line of Tianji Tower. Night Sorrow then introduced Liang Yu to the others. Liang Yu was very polite at this time, cupping his hands in greeting. He was completely different from when he cut off the gray-robed elder's crotch. Liang Yu, you didn't run away at the crucial moment. You stayed behind to help our captain. I, Yun Huang, recognize you as my brother, Yun Huang said after his injuries were checked by the Aoi. Yes. I've passed this test as well. Later on, I'll recommend him to our brothers in the team. Exquisite also expressed her attitude. Then Yang Lei talked about Guan Yi and Yu Yangyu's intention. Master wants you to make the decision. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and said. We'll let Ho Jian and Xue Ling deal with this later. If they think it's appropriate, then it's appropriate. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. Then, Night Sorrow asked Guo Xiao and Yao Yang to prepare a feast. He went into seclusion to heal his injuries. Yun Huang did the same. Healing pills were only supplementary effects. The main thing was to heal his body. His broken arm greatly affected his combat ability. At this time, on the island in the Realm Sea, 2 corpses were placed in front of Xia Lanjun and the others. There was also the inhuman captive. How dare they challenge our bottom line? Then there's no need to be polite. Let's fight. They used a high-level venerable to kill our young master, so we don't have to follow the rules, Xia Lanjun said. They're crazy. Zhen Haixing's face was full of anger. Master K, what do you mean? Xia Lanjun looked at Lin Yuandao. Let's start an all-out war. The Supreme Elder and a few saints will keep an eye on their saints here. We'll destroy the Tianfeng dynasty first, then attack the Silver Devil clan. Finally, we'll go to the Western Nether region to eradicate the forces behind the saints of the Western Nether region. Okay. Then let's do it. We'll block their saints outside Haohai City. Master K, you can lead your men to kill them. Xia Lanjun said. Master Lin Yuandao, if you need help, just call for Lord Taishu. Our men from the North Sea domain are at your disposal, Zhen Haixing said. He was expressing his stance. The Eastern Xian region and the Northern Sea region were in a complete alliance. Furthermore, Tai Shuyan was the Vice-Chief Tower Lord of the Celestial Terminus Tower. His intention was not to interfere with Tai Shuyan's decisions. Thank you, Senior Zhen Haixing. Our Tianji Tower's men will have no problem wiping them out. The pressure will be on the seniors, Lin Yuandao said. That's not a problem. We'll block them at the border of Haohai City's Realm Sea. If they come to ask for help, we'll kill them. If they want to fight, then let's play big, Xia Lanjun said. Then I'll go to the Eastern Xian region to mobilize some men. Wu Lingfei's face was full of frost. If you asked who was the angriest, it would be her. She had been silent all this time because she was ready to attack. Master Wu Kei, follow us and kill them. We'll crush them like dry weeds and not give them a chance, Xia Lanjun said. Then the group moved. Xia Lanjun and the others also moved their garrison to the border of Haohai City's Realm Sea. Lin Yuandao and Wu Lingfei left and began to mobilize their men. Night Sorrow went into seclusion for 4 consecutive days to recover from his internal injuries. The high-level Venerable's attacks were too violent and caused him great damage. Night Sorrow only came out of seclusion after he fully recovered. After coming out of seclusion, Night Sorrow went to see Yun Huang. Yun Huang had almost recovered. When he was attacked, unlike Night Sorrow who was worried about the safety of the people behind him, he dodged to the side and didn't take the full brunt of the attack. Lin Yuandao also helped him recuperate. Now, only the broken bones in his right hand needed time to heal. Yun Huang also came out of seclusion today. Soon after, the 2 of them went to the training field. When they saw Night Sorrow, they all greeted him. Guan Yi also cupped his hands in greeting to Night Sorrow. First is my senior brother Guan Yi. Whether you agree or not is up to you. However, I want to make one thing clear. Even if my 12th senior brother joins the team, he is only a member of the God-slaying team. He is my senior brother outside of the team. Now, Xue Ling, Ho Jian, you ask for everyone's opinion, Night Sorrow said. Then Xue Ling and Hou Jian asked for everyone's opinion. No one objected because Guanyi had gotten along well with everyone recently. If no one objects, he will temporarily join the god-slaying team. After a few battles, he will be an official member. Night Sorrow announced the final decision. Then, Ling Long pushed Liang Yu to Night Sorrow's side. Next up is Liang Yu. He has interacted with Yun Huang and Ling Long for some time. Now, he also wants to join our group. First of all, Yun Huang and Ling Long, what do you two think? Yi Shan looked towards Yun Huang and Ling Long. Both of us support this and officially recommend him to the team. However, this also requires everyone's acceptance, Yun Huang said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, Xue Ling, Hou Jian, how about this? Liang Yu will temporarily join the team. After a few battles, we will make a decision based on the situation. As I said before, brotherhood is the most important thing in the god-slaying team. We will not abandon any of our brothers. We can be their backs, Night Sorrow said. Brother, don't worry. Once you understand the god-slaying team, you will definitely not feel wrong today, Yun Huang said as he patted Liang Yu's shoulder. Chapter 722. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. While Night Sorrow was making arrangements for the god-slaying team, Tianji Tower, Eastern Xian region, and North Sea region gathered their forces and began to attack the Tianfeng dynasty. This time, it was not a battle for territory, but a battle of extermination. While Tianji Tower, Eastern Xian region, and Northern Sea domain were charging towards the Tianfeng dynasty, Lin Yuandao, Wu Lingfei, Li Zhengxian, Bei Tiangu, and Tai Shu Yan led the high-level venerables to kill their way to the capital of the Tianfeng dynasty. They didn't plan to give the Tianfeng dynasty a chance. The Tianfeng dynasty was very powerful. They had many high-level honorables and even 3 peak-level honorables. However, how could they stand against 2 saints and a team led by an invincible honorable? All the higher-ups of the Tianfeng dynasty were killed in an instant. They didn't even have the qualifications to fight back. There had never been such a battle in the past. In the past, it wasn't as if there hadn't been any fights between the major forces, but there had been no saints involved. Chen Yuan's sneak attack on the Night Moon dynasty was an exception, and it hadn't been publicized to the outside world. However, it wasn't the case this time. This time, Tianji Tower was an open assassination. After the capital of the Tianfeng dynasty fell, Wu Lingfei, Lin Yuandao, and the others started killing from the central area to the periphery. In other words, none of the higher-ups and managers of the Tianfeng dynasty were left alive. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs. COM without destroying the teleportation array, the killing speed was incomparably fast. At this time, Qin Yuan, who was meditating on an island in the realm sea, stood up, called out to West Taizong, and then went to Silver Dusk Saint's tent. What's the matter? Why are you so flustered? Silver Sunset Saint opened his eyes and stood up. My descendant, the Tianfeng dynasty's monarch's life medallion has shattered, and the other 2 peak venerables' life medallions have also shattered. This is a big deal, let's hurry over and take a look. Chen Yuan's face took on a ghastly expression because the 3 broken life badges belonged to 3 top-grade venerable ones from the Tianfeng dynasty. They're making their move now. This shouldn't be the case. Let's go and take a look. Yin Shi's face also turned cold. She knew that if the Tianfeng dynasty was destroyed, it would be a big event, and it might just be the beginning. They had just crossed the realm sea and were about to head to the teleportation portal in Vast Sea City when they were intercepted. Everlasting Saint, what is the meaning of this? Silver Sunset Saint looked at Xia Lanjun coldly and asked. Now you're asking me what I mean. Then let me ask you what you mean. Xia Lanjun waved her hand and threw the 2 corpses and the captives who were still alive but were barely humanoid in front of her. Seeing Silver Dusk Saint's corpse, Shi Taizong and Qin Yuan's expressions changed. You don't want to say anything? True Ocean Saint asked. I don't know what you're talking about. She replied directly. Since we've already shed all pretense of cordiality, there's no point in pretending to keep up appearances. She, let me see how much you've improved over the years. As for daring to challenge me directly. Xia Lanjun waved her arm and a long sword appeared in her hand. Xia Lanjun, are you really going to fight? Silver Sunset Saint narrowed his eyes and looked at Xia Lanjun. I didn't want to fight either, but you forced us to. In fact, I really don't understand how this will benefit you. The Tianfeng dynasty will be destroyed. The Silver Devil clan will be destroyed. The West Green sect will be destroyed soon. Is this the result you want? Xia Lanjun waved her long sword and said. Xia Lanjun, how dare you? Silver Dusk Saint roared. His silver hair shook violently and fell back to his shoulders. You dared to touch the young master of our extreme celestial palace and even sent a high-level venerable to assassinate him. What else do I not dare to do? You brought about your own destruction. Since that's the case, I can't maintain peace even if I want to. Only then can we fight. Xia Lanjun exhaled and said. Now that she had shed all pretense of cordiality, she had also let go of the burden. You brought this upon yourself. Long Xuancheng's figure appeared, but he appeared behind Xia Lanjun and the others. Senior Long Xiancheng, aren't you going to stop this? This will damage the strength of the 9 regions. Silver Dusk Saint looked at Long Xiancheng and asked. Shi, your words are unreasonable. It's fine if you attack the younger generation, but if they attack you, it will damage the strength of the 9 regions? I just found out that you crossed the line. Long Xiancheng stood with his hands behind his back. At this moment, True Sea Saint moved and charged towards West Taicang. South Heaven Saint was also facing Qin Yuan. Flying Tiger Saint and Black Dragon Saint were also fighting. Shi, I'm very disappointed in you. Now, we can only talk through battle. Xia Lanjun also moved and slashed her sword towards Silver Dusk. What kind of situation was it when 8 saints were fighting? The sky was dark, and the air was filled with sharp energy. It's better not to hurt the 9 regions world. Long Xiancheng stomped his right foot, and a yellow energy spread out in all directions with him as the center. As the yellow energy spread out, the sword chi and blade light landed on the ground, not even a speck of dust flew up. Because it was a targeted battle, Xia Lanjun's side had the upper hand. Especially since Qin Yuan was being suppressed by South Heaven Saint. It was only a matter of time before he was defeated and killed. True Sea Saint was also completely suppressing West Taicang. On the other hand, Flying Tiger Saint and Black Dragon Saint were evenly matched. The most intense battle was between Xia Lanjun and Silver Dusk Saint. The area where the two of them were fighting had spatial cracks spreading out in all directions like a spider web. However, Silver Dusk Saint could only defend and did not have any ability to counterattack. She controlled the wind and water attribute, while Xia Lanjun controlled the wind and lightning attribute. In terms of attributes, Xia Lanjun was obviously stronger. Let's go. Seeing that the situation was bad, Silver Dusk Saint shouted and wanted to leave. If she wanted to leave, it would be difficult for Xia Lanjun to kill her. However, Xia Lanjun did not allow her to leave the battlefield and started to surround her. At this moment, True Sea Saint, who was fighting against West Taicang, turned around and heavily injured Qin Yuan, who was using all his energy to defend against South Heaven Saint. True Sea Saint, you're despicable. Qin Yuan, who was stabbed in the back and had a hole in his chest, cursed. Who are you blaming if you're stupid? Didn't your master tell you that you have to be observant and alert during a battle? True Sea Saint, who was suppressing West Taicang again and did not let him escape, said something that made Qin Yuan want to vomit blood. If you want to fight or run, I don't care. However, I have something to say first. If I hear that you're attacking cultivators below the Saint stage again, then wait for me to hunt you down. Of course, if you think you can withstand my anger, then do as you please. Long Xianqing looked at the situation in the sky and said. Silver Dusk Saint wanted to save Qin Yuan, but Xia Longjun did not give her the chance. Her long sword was covered with wind blades and lightning, constantly intercepting her movements. Following a scream, Qin Yuan's neck was cut off by South Heaven Saint's sword. Then, he added another sword, shattering his spirit sea. Only 6y11 positive, square root version 5. His all, Pirate KF version 1, at this moment, Silver Dusk Saint knew that the situation was set. She quickly drew her sword and continued to retreat. Then, a white light appeared on her body and she left through the sky. Chapter 723. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Xia Longjun, you're despicable. I won't let you go. Silver Dusk Sage's voice came from the sky. The moment you used your despicable means, I've already made you my enemy. If you're not convinced, I'll be waiting for you at the Silver Devil Villa. Xia Longjun shouted. Then, Xia Longjun charged towards West Taizong. Since they had already shed all pretense of cordiality, she had to deal the greatest blow to her opponent. West Taizong was already having a hard time dealing with True Ocean Sage. Now that Xia Longjun, who was much stronger than him, was attacking him as well, he couldn't hold on any longer. In just a few moments, his left arm was chopped off. Ah! Just you wait. West Taizong transformed into a ball of black energy and fled into the distance. There's no need to chase him. That's death disintegration. He's using his body's energy to execute his ultimate move. We can't chase after him. However, he won't be able to come out for the time being, Long Xianqing said. Then, Xia Longjun, Southern Gansheng, True Ocean Sage, and Flying Tiger Sage began to besiege Black Dragon Sage. Ha! Well, I won't die unjustly under the encirclement of 4 sages. However, it's a pity that I met a few unscrupulous companions. Black Dragon Sage laughed and transformed into his true form to fight with the others. Black Dragon Sage, I don't want to see this happen either. Isn't the realm of unbounded desolation fine? Why do you have to get involved with them and send a high-level venerable to assassinate him? That's not right. Flying Tiger Sage sighed. Perhaps you're right. However, things have already come to this point. It has nothing to do with me. Don't think of me as such a despicable person, Black Dragon Sage said. If you want to turn back and make a promise, it's fine. Xia Longjun said. She didn't want to lose the strength of a 9-realm saint. Besides, the ambush had nothing to do with Black Dragon Sage. Alright, let's stop and talk. If we can't, we'll fight again. Long Xianqing said. Hearing Long Xuanqing's words, the group stopped fighting and looked at Long Xianqing at the same time. Hey Kuei, the realm of unbounded desolation is not doing well. Do the demonic beasts have nowhere to go? Silver Dusk Saint and the others are scheming against us. What are you doing here? Long Xianqing said. Black Dragon Saint's name was He Kuei. Senior Long Xianqing, it's not that He Kuei is unreasonable. It's just that there are some things that He Kuei doesn't understand. The Black Dragon Sage transformed into his human form and said. Alright, if you make a promise, they will not make things difficult for you. Long Xianqing said. As long as you don't humiliate my race and my dignity, that's fine, the Black Dragon Saint said. Even in the face of danger, the Black Dragon Saint still maintained his bottom line. It's not as serious as you think. Just don't get involved with Silver Dusk Saint and the others. Also, when everyone is fighting for the 9 zones, I hope you can contribute to the 9 zones as well, Xia Longjun said. I only just found out that they sent high-level venerables to kill low-level venerables. I despise them for abandoning their companions and running away. They are not the same kind of people. If the 9 regions world needs help, I will help. Black Dragon Xinghe Kuei said. Then go back. Xia Longjun nodded. The Black Dragon Saint's promise was enough for the current situation. Thank you, Senior Long Xiansheng. Junior He Kuei will remember this. The Black Dragon Saint bowed. Well, you were just muddle-headed. Long Xiansheng shook his head and said. Go back. If you have time, come and drink with me. The Flying Tiger Saint threw a jar of wine to the Black Dragon Saint. Flying Tiger, I can't do anything for the unbounded desolation. I'll leave some things to you. If you need anything, let me know. After receiving the jar of wine, the Black Dragon Saint left the battlefield. Let's go to the Silver Devil Villa now. Since we've already made our move, we won't give them a chance to rest, Xia Lanjun said. She couldn't give Yin Shi a chance to return to the Silver Devil Villa first. Xia Lanjun, let me ask for a favor. I have some friendship with the Moon Emperor. After taking down the Tianfeng dynasty, it's better for us to return the cities that originally belonged to the Night Moon dynasty to them. Seeing that Xia Lanjun and the others were about to leave, Long Xiansheng said. Long Xiansheng, you can rest assured. Even if you didn't ask, we would have done the same. Xia Lanjun nodded. Go. As for the Sky Underworld Saint, I'll deal with him. Long Xiansheng said. Just as Night Sorrow was about to leave for the island, Lutrin Swan arrived. Lutrin Swan said, Young Master, His Lordship has asked me to pass on a message. He wants you to arrange for people to take over the cities that were previously occupied by the Tianfeng dynasty in the Night Moon dynasty. What's going on? Night Sorrow asked, somewhat surprised. Lutrin Swan said, the Tianfeng dynasty has been wiped out. Now, all the major cities are ownerless. Young Master, you can send people to take over the cities. As long as the flag of the Night Moon dynasty flies in the cities, the other dynasties won't dare to attack. Okay, I'll make the arrangements. Night Sorrow then called Yi Linglan over and asked him to bring people to take over the cities. Seeing Lutrin Swan leave with the people of the Night Moon dynasty, Yun Huang muttered, looks like we've really gone overboard this time. The Tianfeng dynasty has been wiped out. How can we not go overboard? Captain is the young master of the Tianji Tower. They've crossed the line by using high-level venerables to assassinate us. We'll definitely fight them to the death. Yang Lei sighed and said, I didn't expect saints to be so stupid. If you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. If they know, there'll be a war. Why bother? They didn't succeed. Once they succeeded, they would have retreated. Without any clues, who can do anything to them? It's not right to make a move without evidence. The saints won't do that. Aoi thought for a moment and said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that this was the truth. If there was no evidence, Xia Lanjun and the others couldn't do anything. Then, everyone continued to cultivate. However, Yun Huang could only watch. His arm was still recovering. On the third night after Yi Linglan went to take over the cities, Wu Lingfei and Lin Yuandao arrived at the city in the sky. Aunt Fei, what's the situation now? Night Sorrow asked. The Tianfeng dynasty has been completely wiped out. The Qing Tian Domain's Silver Devil clan has been wiped out. We'll go to the West Nether Domain later to wipe out the West Green sect, Wu Lingfei said. Is there any trouble? Night Sorrow asked. He knew that the saints had completely fallen out with each other this time. Taiyuan Saint Qin Yuan has been killed. Shi Taizong gave up his body and used death disintegration to escape. He won't be able to come out for a while. After all, the destruction of one's body is very serious. The Black Dragon Saint has made a promise. The problem is almost solved. The only trouble is that Yin Shi has escaped, Wu Lingfei said. Seeing that Night Sorrow was fine, she felt a little more at ease. I6. Positive. Version 1. Why didn't you kill the Black Dragon Saint? Aren't you worried that he'll break the promise? Sikong Chiyu asked. The Black Dragon Saint didn't participate in the sneak attack on Night Sorrow. In addition, Long Xiansheng was also present. If he wants to break the promise, he has to think twice, Wu Lingfei explained. Chapter 724. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Yun Huang wasn't the only one worried about this. Everyone was worried about this. The revenge of an unscrupulous saint was too terrifying. Anyone below the saint realm would be killed instantly. You don't have to worry too much about this. Long Xianqing warned her that if she dares to attack anyone below the saint realm, Long Xianqing will deal with her. Love Go Little Say, Chuxia Lanjun and the others also appeared in the city in the sky. That's better. Otherwise, it would really kill me. Night Sorrow said. However, she hates you to the bone. It's hard to say whether she will attack you or not. You must be careful. Zhen Haixing reminded Night Sorrow. How can I be careful? She is a saint. If she wants to kill me, I'm afraid I won't even have the ability to resist. Night Sorrow said with a bitter smile. Xia Lanjun and the others also shook their heads because this was almost unsolvable. Unless Night Sorrow was protected by someone at all times. During this period of time, follow Aunt Fei. Wu Lingfei said. Then, the saints left the city in the sky. After the war, there were many things to do. Aunt Fei, I brought trouble again this time. Night Sorrow said apologetically as he drank tea with Wu Lingfei under the lake. How is it you who brought trouble? It's us elders who didn't handle this matter well. You shouldn't be the one who should be apologetic. Wu Lingfei said. The destruction of the Tianfeng dynasty is good news for Night Moon. The other dynasties are not as happy as the Tianfeng dynasty. Night Sorrow said. Night Moon dynasty has fewer and fewer obstacles to rise. The biggest obstacle is probably the 7-star dynasty because it has a saint. However, the saint of the 7-star dynasty hasn't appeared for many years. He didn't even appear in the war between the dynasties 20 years ago. Wu Lingfei said. There are more things to do. Aunt Fei can't be quiet. Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's okay. No matter who it is now, no one dares to challenge the Eastern Profound region. Wu Lingfei said. Auntie Fei is not in the Eastern Xian region. You have to be careful outside. Night Sorrow was also worried about Wu Lingfei's safety. Between saints, unless the gap is too big, it is almost impossible to kill them. Furthermore, you know Auntie Fei's situation, speed is fast, not everyone can threaten Auntie Fei. Love Go Little Say W Chu. Wu Lingfei smiled at Night Sorrow. Then Auntie Fei has to be careful. Silver Dusk Saint is a vile person. Don't use any tricks. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew what Wu Ling concubine's true body was. Speed was her forte. Auntie Fei has been in the 9-domain world for many years, so her experience is not fake. You, on the other hand, should focus more on spatial fissures. That way, you'll have one more life-saving method, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. The two drank tea and chatted. Night Sorrow didn't feel much pressure. After all, Wu Lingfei was by his side. She wasn't someone who could be killed easily. While they were drinking tea and chatting, Yi Ling Lan came and told Night Sorrow that the takeover of the city had gone smoothly. Then I'll go connect to the teleportation array later, Night Sorrow said. No need. Those teleportation arrays weren't destroyed. We went to the main teleportation array of Tianfeng Royal City and took back the fragments of the teleportation crystals. They have already connected to Night Moon's teleportation array, Yi Ling Lan said. Then I'm relieved. Also, if someone attacks, don't resist. Just retreat. I'll take care of it, Night Sorrow said. He didn't want Night Moon to lose any members. At present, Night Moon's members were still lacking in combat strength. If the upper echelons couldn't fight, they would be at a disadvantage. Therefore, he was worried. Young master, don't worry. I have a plan for this. Yi Ling Lan nodded. He could see Night Moon's situation clearly. Afterward, Yi Linglan went to make the necessary arrangements. Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei continued to chat. Night Sorrow was quite happy because things were developing in a good direction. After drinking tea for a while, Night Sorrow sent Wu Lingfei to rest and went to the training field to watch the others cultivate. Look, vs forever plus free. Speak. Liang Yu and Guan Yu were currently cultivating joint attacks. If they wanted to join the god-slaying squad, they needed to know joint attacks. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang took out a jug of wine and chatted as they drank. It's uncomfortable to stay here. Once my arm recovers, we'll go to that island and continue cultivating in the chaotic streams of space in the realm C, Yun Huang said. He couldn't move his arm easily and felt quite sullen. That's fine. Once your arm recovers, we'll take everyone to the realm C to cultivate. Cultivating there will give us a solid foundation. But you and Linglong have to control it well. Nothing can happen. We can't lose any of our brothers, Night Sorrow said after a moment's thought. Yun Huang nodded. He knew that Night Sorrow hoped that everyone's cultivation would improve quickly, but safety was the most important thing. Night Sorrow and the three women waited until evening before returning to the mansion. 13. I'm a bit scared. This world is too chaotic. I used to think that 5th stage experts were experts, and sovereigns were amazing. But now, even saints view you as an enemy, Yang Lei said, looking at Night Sorrow. It's decided by height. If I were a low-level cultivator, they wouldn't be interested in me. Don't worry, 9th senior sister. With Auntie Fei here, no one can do anything to me, Night Sorrow said, hugging Yang Lei. As we grow stronger, our opponents will also become stronger. If we want to stand firm, we have to improve our cultivation. Sikong Chiyu nodded. I haven't had time to check these days. How's my 12th senior brother in the team? Night Sorrow asked. Guan Yi is very hardworking. Everyone recognizes him. There shouldn't be a problem, Aoi said. That's good. This way, I won't make things difficult for him, and I won't make things difficult for him. Night Sorrow breathed a sigh of relief. Whether or not Guan Yi could join the god-slaying team was very important. If something went wrong, not only would it affect their relationship as brothers, it would also hurt Lu Yangyu's reputation. Besides, Lu Yangyu would also lose face. After drinking tea for a while, Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei went to rest. They wanted to give Night Sorrow and Aoi some space. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow sent Aoi back to rest. In front of Aoi's room, Night Sorrow opened his arms and hugged Aoi. Aoi also hugged Night Sorrow's waist. 13th junior brother's chest is very warm. It would be better if 6th senior sister could feel at ease, Night Sorrow said, looking at Aoi's blushing face. Chapter 725. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. I'll provide you with wonderful novels to read. Hugging Aoi's body, Night Sorrow instinctively reacted. Aoi, who was leaning on Night Sorrow, felt it. 13, 6th senior sister isn't free right now. Can we do it later? Aoi's voice was pitifully soft. Night Sorrow was a cultivator, so he couldn't hear her. Yes, 6th senior sister. I didn't think about that. Hugging 6th senior sister makes me feel warm and secure, Night Sorrow said. Aoi then kissed Night Sorrow and ran back to the pavilion. Night Sorrow smiled and returned to the main building. Then, he sat down and cultivated. Now that the sense of danger was getting stronger, he had to hurry up and improve his cultivation. Night Sorrow communicated with the Spacetime Pagoda to help him. His main goal was to improve his bloodline power and soul power. Night Sorrow wanted to improve the power of spatial rend. He wanted to reach the realm where he could tear through space and enter spatial turbulence as soon as possible. That way, he would have more ways to escape if he was chased. In the morning, while the girls were washing up, Night Sorrow was cultivating his spear arts. Aoi also brought him a basin of water. 13. Why did you come back to cultivate last night? Why didn't you accompany 6th senior sister? I'm completely convinced by you. Don't tell me you want 6th senior sister to wait for you in your room? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow with disappointment. No, some things are better left to nature, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Some things couldn't be explained. 9th junior sister, why are you so rude now? You dare to say anything? Aoi glared at Yang Lei. 6th senior sister, I'm doing this for the sake of our family. Yang Lei didn't care about Aoi's glare. 9th senior sister, Chu Yu, the two of you have already advanced to the 7th level of the Void Inquiry stage. You can take the Extreme Void Pill. However, it's better for you to stabilize your cultivation base first before taking it. Don't leave behind any side effects that might cause you to have an unstable foundation. 6th senior sister, the same goes for you. Night Sorrow changed the topic while wiping his face. During the time that Night Sorrow was in the Realm Sea, the cultivation bases of the three women had improved tremendously. Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei had both advanced to the late Void Inquiry stage and reached the 7th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Aoi had also advanced to the 3rd level of the Void Inquiry stage. We're your senior sisters. We know what's going on. We won't make you worry, Aoi said with a smile. After that, Night Sorrow brought the women to the training ground. The women followed the others to cultivate while Night Sorrow used the void-splitting spear to practice his spear techniques and improve his cultivation base. Many people did not pay much attention to the cultivation of their cultivation base after entering the Venerable Realm. All of them focused on improving their cultivation base as quickly as possible. However, Night Sorrow felt that having a high cultivation base was also a foundation. There were many benefits to it. Thus, he never gave up. Night Sorrow did not use his true chi. Just by waving the void-splitting spear casually, he could cause the energy of heaven and earth to surge. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Wu Lingfei came over and sat beside the tea table. She took out a tea set and began to make tea. After cultivating for a while, Night Sorrow came to Wu Lingfei's side and sat down to drink tea. After sizing up Night Sorrow, Wu Lingfei poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow. While your cultivation base is progressing steadily, don't give up on improving your cultivation base. This is the foundation. The higher your cultivation base is, the smoother your cultivation will be. Also, your body's cultivation base is progressing well. The essence chi smoke is close to 6 shang. You're not far from the realm where your essence chi smoke will soar into the sky. I won't hide it from you, Auntie Fei. My body's cultivation base has reached the final stage of the 5th stage. Once I break through this stage, my cultivation base will be on par with the Venerable Realm. At that time, my strength will increase even more, Night Sorrow said. That's good. A strong body is the foundation of a cultivator's great achievements. It's like a bottle. A big bottle, a strong bottle, can hold more energy. Also, you're cultivating the void-splitting spear. The strength of your body is an important factor in resisting the spatial turbulence, Wu Lingfei said. Entering the spatial turbulence? Isn't the strength of the protective barrier the most important factor in resisting the spatial turbulence? Night Sorrow asked. Normally, that's the case. But have you ever thought about it? The body is the core of the protective barrier. If the core isn't strong, the protective barrier won't be stable. It's like a small tree branch. If you put a heavy armor on it, it won't be able to support it. Spatial turbulence and spatial strangulation will attack through the protective barrier. Therefore, a strong body is very important. Wu Lingfei explained the importance of a strong body to Night Sorrow. Yi Shang nodded, understanding the logic behind it. Many demon beasts and spirit beast cultivators, as well as some ancient families, have special offensive secret arts and innate divine abilities. The protective barrier can't completely block attacks. At that time, the strength of the body is the key to defense. Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow again. I understand innate divine abilities. I also know a little about ancient families. But where did their secret arts come from? Were they created by their ancestors? Night Sorrow asked curiously. How do I put it? Demon beasts and spirit beasts can transform. After transforming, they are no different from humans. Some marry human women, and some marry human men. Their descendants have a chance to inherit their parents' bloodline and inheritance. The more talented they are, the more likely they will inherit their parents' innate divine abilities. Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow about the inheritance of ancient families. I see. Ah. Then our Night Moon dynasty is the same. Could it be that I also have the bloodline of demon beasts or spirit beasts? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. What's so surprising about that? It depends on whether or not your family has records of it. Spatial rend isn't simple, but the situation isn't necessarily the same as what Auntie Faye said. There are also some ancient bloodlines. Their parents or ancestors have cultivated to a level recognized by the heavenly Tao. They can be passed down to their descendants. Do you really care about this? Wu Lingfei asked Night Sorrow. It's nothing. I'm just curious. I feel that races are very complicated. Night Sorrow rubbed his forehead and said. It's not complicated. Perhaps there is racial discrimination. Humans look down on demon beasts, and demon beasts with extraordinary talents look down on humans. For example, the golden dragon race will never marry with other races. Wu Lingfei said. Yong Chu Jiu Yi Fei read novels. Auntie Fei, you don't look down on humans, do you? Night Sorrow asked Wu Lingfei. How do I put it? It's not a matter of looking down on him or not. It's mainly a matter of getting along with him. He has nothing to do with Auntie Faye, so why would I look down on him or not? What about you? Wu Lingfei asked Yi Shang. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, in fact, I have some thoughts. I can't deny that some evil races are repelled. However, Auntie Faye is the one I respect the most in my heart. This will never change. Indeed, it is impossible to say that there is no rejection at all. Some races are born to fight, while others are born to be evil. This is something that cannot be changed. However, many of the higher-ranked races are arrogant and disdain to do such despicable things. Wu Lingfei told Yi Shang some things that no one else knew. Chapter 726. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Wu Lingfei nodded. Her heart felt much better. In this world, Wu Lingfei didn't have any relatives. Night Sorrow was the only one. Also, it was a fact that they were of different races. She didn't want Night Sorrow to have a knot in his heart because of this problem. In fact, there were many things that Wu Lingfei didn't say. In the eyes of some talented races, humans were weak. They looked down on humans. After chatting with Wu Lingfei for a while, Night Sorrow continued to practice his spear arts. He used the Space Splitter Spear. The Reincarnation Spear was very compatible with him. Right now, he was building a foundation for the compatibility of his doppelganger weapon. Seeing Night Sorrow's focused expression, Wu Lingfei nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow's state of mind was very good. Ordinary things couldn't affect his mood. In addition, it also meant that Night Sorrow didn't care about these things. After cultivating until night time, Night Sorrow called Wu Lingfei, Guanyi, and Liang Yu to his residence to eat. 13th junior brother, I'm here. You can just treat me as an ordinary member of the God-slaying squad, Guanyi said. You're a member of the God-slaying squad at other times. Privately, you're my 12th senior brother. Night Sorrow raised his wine cup to Guanyi. 13th junior brother, I was a bit selfish this time. I wanted to improve myself and live a more exciting life. I've caused you trouble, Guanyi said apologetically. Don't say that, 12th senior brother. It's nothing. Liang Yu, you just came here and might not be familiar with it. You'll get used to it. The members of the God-slaying squad are a group of loyal people. Night Sorrow shook his head at Guan Yi and then looked at Liang Yu. While you were recovering, I interacted with them for a few days. I felt pretty good. You don't have to worry about me. I can do whatever the others can do. Liang Yu said. Liang Yu then drank some wine and left. He knew that this was Night Sorrow's family feast. He called him because he was afraid that he wouldn't be used to it. 12th senior brother, do you have enough death crystals now? Night Sorrow looked at Guan Yi and asked. It's enough, there's still a lot. Right now, my Jinqi attribute has already been strengthened to the extreme. Only by increasing my cultivation base can I strengthen my Jinqi attribute. 13th junior brother, you don't need to worry about me. Guan Yi said. He was very touched. He knew that Night Sorrow had not communicated much with him and even said that they did not have any feelings for each other. However, Night Sorrow was still willing to help him. After that, Guan Yi left as well. Only he knew what he was thinking. Night Sorrow, Auntie Fei has also gone to her loft to rest. If there's anything, just go and call Auntie Fei. She stood up and shook her skirt before walking towards her loft. Night Sorrow, what do you plan to do next? Aoi asked Night Sorrow. I'm going to eat the dragon spirit pill to increase my cultivation base. However, it will take a long time to refine, so I can't delay everyone. Later, I'll bring everyone to the island in the realm sea to cultivate. Everyone will see how strong they are in the outer region of the spatial turbulence. After that, I'll eat the dragon spirit pill, Night Sorrow said. That's good. The three of us are going to eat the void pill to increase our cultivation base. After that, we'll definitely need to stabilize our cultivation base, Sikong Chuyu said. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, let's wait for 2 more days. Let's see how big the war is this time. The war wasn't over yet. Tianji Tower, Eastern Xian region, and Northern Sea region were still attacking Western Nether region's Western Azure sect. That was Western Taizong's sect. At this time, a massacre was taking place at Western Azure sect's Mountain Gate. Xia Lanjun led a group of people to slaughter Western Azure sect. However, halfway through the massacre, a problem occurred. A white-haired, black-robed old man appeared. This old man directly injured Lutrin Xuan with a single move. At the same time, he also pushed Lin Yuandao far away. Xia Lanjuan's expression changed drastically. She hurriedly stopped this old man. However, in fact, Xia Lanjun couldn't resist at all. She was suppressed and forced to retreat. True Ocean Saint, Nangan Saint, and Flying Tiger Saint came to help, but they were also suppressed. They couldn't stop this white-haired, black-robed old man's attacks. At this time, Xia Lanjun crushed Long Xuanqing's messaging crystal. If she still didn't know what was going on, she would be a fool. She knew that this white-haired, black-robed old man with a gloomy aura was the heavenly underworld saint that Long Xianqing had mentioned. You dare to behave atrociously in my Western Nether region? Then, all of you should die. The white-haired, black-robed old man snorted coldly. His attacks became more violent. Xia Lanjun and the rest found it difficult to resist because this old man was simply too strong. A bunch of reckless fools. The black-robed old man roared as he attacked. Xia Lanjun knew that this was a crisis for them. If they could hold on until Long Xianqing arrived, then they would be fine. If they couldn't, then someone would die. At this time, the importance of unity could be seen. No matter who Heavenly Underworld Saint attacked, the others would block with all their strength. The battle was in a stalemate. However, Lin Yuandao and the rest killed the upper echelons of the Western Green sect. After killing the upper echelons of the Western Green sect, Lin Yuandao and the rest didn't move. He and Guo Xiao were both new saints. After the time it took to brew a cup of tea, a figure appeared on the battlefield. Heavenly Underworld Saint, you don't care about the safety of the 9 regions now. Aren't you afraid that the 9 regions will lose their strength? Long Xiansheng, they have attacked my western nether region. Are you going to interfere? Heavenly Underworld Saint retreated a distance and said coldly. Why don't you ask why they are here? Long Xiansheng said. Xia Lanjun, I know you. You better give me an explanation. Heavenly Underworld Saint waved his sleeve and said. It's Western Green Sect's Western Green Sect's Western Green Sect. He sent a high-level saint to assassinate the young master of my Tianji Tower. This is to destroy the foundation of my Tianji Tower. Xia Lanjun said. Heavenly Underworld Saint thought for a moment and said, Long Xiansheng, are you guys on the same side? F3 equals first hair, the person who was assassinated is from my eastern Xian region. To be able to become the young master of the Tianji Tower, you should know what it means to my eastern Xian region. Long Xiansheng said. You guys are in the right. Long Xiansheng, since you are here, why don't we have a battle? Heavenly Underworld Saint said. Then let's try. But if you lose, don't get involved in this matter. Long Xiansheng said. If I lose, you can take my life. Heavenly Underworld Saint snorted and put away the long sword in his hand. Another long sword that seemed to be absorbing the light rose from his back. All of you, back off. Long Xiansheng waved his sleeve and blocked Xia Lanjun and the others behind him. Then, he waved his left hand. As Long Xiansheng waved his arm, the heaven and earth around him shook. Then, energy began to gather. At this time, Heavenly Underworld Saint slashed his long sword at Long Xiansheng. With a slash of his sword, a crack appeared in the space. The sharp sword chi slashed towards Long Xiansheng. Long Xiansheng punched out with his right hand and continued to wave his left hand. With a loud explosion, Long Xiansheng took 2 steps back and offset Heavenly Underworld Saint's sword chi. Chapter 727. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. As the energy gathered, a yellow spherical space appeared. Heavenly Underworld Saint was in the middle of the yellow spherical space. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.aichuxs. Com Long Xiansheng rubbed his hands, and the yellow spherical space began to spin. Green and silver energy appeared in the middle of the spherical space, and several types of energy began to attack Heavenly Underworld Saint. Is this your spatial attack? You still can't do anything to me. Heavenly Underworld Saint roared, and a grayish-black protective shield appeared. Then, he waved his sword and attacked the spatial barrier of the yellow spherical space. If you can't do anything to me, then what? I hope you can withstand it. Chaotic space. Long Xiansheng roared, and the energy in the yellow spherical space began to tremble violently. The energy trembled layer by layer, and Heavenly Underworld Saint was about to be torn apart. What the hell is this? Heavenly Underworld Saint's face changed when he felt his energy being torn apart and crushed. This is my chaotic space. Even if you want to run, I'm afraid you won't be able to. Long Xiansheng continued to wave his arms, and streams of energy entered the yellow spherical space, increasing the power of the chaotic space. Heavenly Underworld Saint continued to attack the spatial barrier with his sword. However, as soon as the sword chi left his sword, it was destroyed by the chaotic space. The damage to the spatial barrier was very low, and it was impossible to break it. This is a heaven-defying method. Flying Tiger Saint sighed. Just now, when the few of them joined forces, they were still unable to resist Heavenly Underworld Saint. But now, Heavenly Underworld Saint was completely suppressed by Long Xiansheng. Of course, Heavenly Underworld Saint was not willing to be beaten up passively. He continued to attack the spatial barrier of the yellow spherical space. However, as the chaotic space continued to attack, the strength of his attack on the spatial barrier was very low, and there was no possibility of breaking it. Square root zs *9 version head m hair, you can still resist, then let's continue to add more energy. Long Xiansheng waved his left hand, and a stream of fiery red energy entered the yellow spherical space again. As the fiery red energy entered, the energy attack of the chaotic space became stronger. Heavenly Underworld Saint had to use all his strength to support his protective shield to resist. At this time, Long Xianxing sat down cross-legged. With a wave of his left hand, the khaki-colored space moved above his head. Then, he continuously injected energy into the space. Long Xianxing, you are very shameless. If you have the ability, let me out. Let's have a real fight. Unable to break out of the chaotic space, the Heavenly Underworld Saint could only passively let out a roar. I didn't set any traps for you, nor did I use any dishonorable means. The chaotic space is my ultimate move. If you can't break it, then you don't have the qualifications to fight with me. Take it slowly. Long Xianxing waved his hand and sent energy into the chaotic space. This spatial disorder is even stronger than the violent energy attack in the spatial turbulence outside Hao Tian City. If this continues, Heavenly Underworld Saint's body and soul will be torn apart when his protective energy is depleted, True Sea Saint said with a sigh. Junior, shut up. It's not that easy to tear me apart. Heavenly Underworld Saint tried to break out of the chaotic space. However, even if he managed to break out of the chaotic space, Long Xianxing waved his hand and the chaotic space flew back above his head. As time passed, the Heavenly Underworld Saint became more and more miserable. He had to block the chaotic energy attack in the chaotic space, which consumed a lot of energy. However, he could not break out of the chaotic space. The Heavenly Underworld Saint took out elixirs and resources from his storage ring several times, intending to replenish his energy. However, no matter if it was elixirs or spirit stones, the moment they came out of the storage ring, they would be crushed by the chaotic space. Heavenly Underworld Saint could not protect himself even if he wanted to. You want to replenish your energy and play a war of attrition? You won't have the chance to do so. Long Xianxing said coldly. How can I not protect my elixirs in my protective energy shield? The Heavenly Underworld Saint's face changed. If his energy supply was cut off, it would be difficult for him to hold on. Oh, I forgot to tell you. My chaotic space uses space as its foundation. Together with the support of the earth, wind, and fire attribute energy, it can perform space-skipping attacks. So, don't waste your resources. You won't be able to eat any resources. Long Xianxing said. As the battle continued, the Heavenly Underworld Saint's cultivation was constantly being depleted. If it was someone else, they would not let you live at all. However, I am willing to give you a chance. First, you have to promise that you will not leave the Western Nether region. Long Xianxing said. When did I leave the Western Nether region? You guys are the ones who attacked me. The Heavenly Underworld Saint roared. Also, if there is a war outside the 9 regions, will you participate? If you participate, I will spare your life. If you don't, there is no point in keeping you alive. Long Xianxing said. The Heavenly Underworld Saint tried to break out of the chaotic space 2 more times. However, he did not manage to break out of the chaotic space. Then, he agreed. Heavenly Underworld Saint, remember this. Others might not be able to do anything to you. However, if I want to kill you, you will not be able to run away. So, you better not break your promise. Long Xianxing waved his arm. After the chaotic space shook, a part of it dissipated while the other part entered his body. Long Xianxing, you win. I will remember this. Why are you still not leaving? Do you want to raise this place to the ground? The Heavenly Underworld Saint looked at Xia Longjun and the others and roared. The main thing was that he had lost face. Let's go. Long Xianxing ignored the flustered Heavenly Underworld Saint and left with Xia Longjun and the others. Senior Long Xianxing, you came in time today. Otherwise, we would be in trouble. Flying Tiger Saint said. There is still a gap between you guys and him. Cultivate slowly. Time is the best grinding stone. Long Xianxing said. Although the Western Green sect is not destroyed, it has been crippled. The only one left is Yin Shi. I don't know if she will cause any more trouble. Xia Lanjun said. You guys can solve her problem. I don't think she will dare to attack anyone easily now. You guys should stay in the domain C and see when Clear Sky City will appear. Long Xianqing said after arriving at the teleportation array. As long as this heavenly underworld saint doesn't leave the western nether region, the pressure on our side will be reduced even if Clear Sky City appears. I wonder if Yin Shi will go there again. Nan Xianqing said as he looked at the back of Long Xianqing. Do you think Long Xianqing didn't think about this? Otherwise, he wouldn't have restricted Heavenly Underworld Saint from leaving the western nether region. Now, we just need to be careful of Yin Shi. She is fast and has innate divine ability. It is very difficult to kill her. True Ocean Saint said. Alright, let's go back. We have vented our anger this time. We have endured them for too long. Xia Lanjun said. She won't attack us because it is not easy for her to kill us even if our cultivation is low. I am just worried about Night Sorrow. Will she attack Night Sorrow? The reason for this was the assassination of Night Sorrow. Now that things have gotten out of hand, she will hold a grudge against Night Sorrow. Lin Yuandao was worried. Chapter 728. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. We can only be careful. Love go little say, Chuxia Lanjun said. No one could do anything about the current situation. They could only be cautious because only Long Xianqing and Xia Lanjun could defeat Yin Shi. Yin Shi would definitely avoid the two of them if she made a move. If she avoided Long Xianqing and Xia Lanjun, the others wouldn't be able to withstand Yin Shi's attack. I hope she can take Senior Long Xuanqing's warning into consideration and not act recklessly, True Ocean Saint said. Then, the group went to the island in the Realm C to set up camp. The matter was basically settled. They still had to look at Haotian City. Night Sorrow also learned about the battle from Lin Yuandao. Night Sorrow could accept such an outcome because in summary, the Silver Dusk Saint was still a hidden danger. Then, Lin Yuandao and the others left. Night Sorrow also planned to move. He gathered the members of the God-slaying squad and told them about the training plan. Then, he led everyone out. It should be said that Wu Lingfei led everyone out. She was worried about Night Sorrow's safety and was almost protecting him. After arriving at Haohai City, the group took a flying ship and flew to the island in the Realm Sea. You want to eat the dragon's spirit pill? Then, you can cultivate with Andi Fei, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow as they sat in the flying ship. Okay. Night Sorrow nodded. It was indeed time for him to use the dragon spirit pill to cultivate. Soon, the group arrived at the area where they had set up camp. None of you have experience in cultivating in the spatial turbulence of the Realm Sea. So, while I'm in seclusion, Yun Huang and Ling Long will be fully responsible for cultivating in the Realm Sea. Everyone must follow orders, Night Sorrow said to the group of people who had set up the tents. Yes. The members of the God-slaying squad knocked on their breastplates and answered. Nan Liyue, give them breastplates. Night Sorrow pointed at Liang Yu and Guan Yi. Captain, don't worry. Everything will be arranged. Love go little say, Chunan Liyue nodded. Alright, everyone go do what you need to do. Qin Zhen, stay behind. Night Sorrow nodded and dismissed the meeting. Then, he brought Qin Zhen to his tent. Brother 13, what can I do for you? Qin Zhen asked. It's nothing much. You're not far from reaching Tier 5. How's your attribute power training going? Night Sorrow asked as he brewed tea. I'm doing okay with my cultivation. I feel like I'm on the verge of evolving. Right now, there is the power of death in my darkness attribute, Qin Zhen said. Very good. Here, take these death crystals. If you don't have enough, come find me. Night Sorrow brought out 10 death crystals and handed them to Qin Zhen. Brother 13, I don't need that much. I'll take 5 yuan first. Qin Zhen took 5 yuan and pushed the rest back to Night Sorrow. That's fine. Come find me if you need it. No need to be so polite. Yi Shan didn't force Qin Zhen. Yi Shan didn't force Qin Zhen. After nodding at Night Sorrow, Qin Zhen returned to the god-slaying squad's camp. Then, Night Sorrow brewed tea and drank it with Aoi, Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and Wu Lingfei. We'll be cultivating with the team from now on, Aoi said. Okay. Safety comes first. Don't go too deep into the realm sea's spatial turbulence. It's not a joke, Night Sorrow reminded the 3 girls. Seeing the 3 of them nod, Yi Shang was relieved. Then, the 3 girls went to their tents. Wu Lingfei also went to the tent that Night Sorrow helped set up. Night Sorrow took out a dragon spirit pill, ate it, and started cultivating. Night Sorrow worked hard to cultivate his bloodline talent and soul power while raising his true energy. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, the others did the same. Aoi, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu all ate void pills to raise their cultivation bases. The others followed Yun Huang, Ling Long, and Liang Yu to the edge of the realm sea's spatial turbulence to hone their cultivation bases. Night Sorrow cultivated day and night. Refining a single dragon spirit pill took about 20 days. In the Sky Pillar domain, a silver-haired woman in a white dress stood in the ruins of the Silver Demon Villa. Her face was full of anger. She was none other than the strongest member of the Silver Demon clan, Yin Shi. How could she suppress her anger when she saw her clan being destroyed? She clapped her hands, sending the broken beams and tiles flying. She growled, Xia Lanjun, you destroyed my clan. You and I can't exist under the same sky. I'll definitely destroy your Tianji Tower. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. After going crazy for a while, Yingxi calmed down. She knew that getting angry wouldn't solve the problem. First, she had to think of a feasible solution. This time, she had rushed back after learning that Xia Lanjun and the others had gone to the Realm Sea. Yingxi was very strong, but she wasn't Xia Lanjun's match. Last time, she had used her clan's innate divine ability, which had damaged her chi and blood. Although it didn't affect her cultivation base, it had affected her body. This was also why Xia Lanjun had said that she wanted to see how many times she could use the wind essence escape technique. After thinking for a while, Yingxi felt that she had to start with Night Sorrow. First of all, everything was caused by Night Sorrow. Also, Night Sorrow's body had been cultivated to the point where his chi and blood were more than 6 meters tall. This meant that he had a body tempering technique. Yingxi gritted her teeth and made a decision. She planned to absorb Night Sorrow's chi and blood for her own use. That way, she would be able to use the wind essence escape technique without restraint in the future. After leaving the Silver Demon Villa, Yingxi went to recover. She needed to recover before doing anything else. Although she hated Yi Shiwen to the core, her many years of cultivation had made her very calm. Even if she hated Yi Shiwen, she could endure it. Night Sorrow worked hard to raise his cultivation base every day. When the Dragon Spirit Pill increased his chi cultivation base, his soul power and bloodline talent also increased greatly. 20 days passed quickly. Night Sorrow's cultivation base had reached the peak of 2nd level Venerable. However, his chi cultivation base was still unstable. This was the drawback of using pills. Night Sorrow's soul power had also increased a lot. The crescent blade of soul annihilation slash was becoming more and more solid. It was sparkling and translucent with a hint of purple. The other 5 bloodline talents were also basically saturated. Their bloodline talents were much more condensed. After leaving the tent, Night Sorrow practiced his spear arts for a while. Then, he went to the edge of the Realm Sea. At this time, the members of the God-slaying squad were cultivating at the edge of the chaotic streams of space. Yun Huang, Ling Long, and Liang Yu were a little deeper. The 3 of them formed a line that no one else could cross. If anyone else went any deeper, it would be dangerous. After greeting the others, Night Sorrow entered the depths of the realm sea and began cultivating in the chaotic streams of space. In the chaotic streams of space, Night Sorrow was like an eagle spreading its wings and striking the waves. The captain is getting more and more monstrous, Ling Long said with a sigh as she crossed paths with Yun Huang in the chaotic streams of space. Work hard on your cultivation. His combat ability is already strong. Now that his cultivation base has increased, he's naturally stronger, Yun Huang said. Chapter 729. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by shall. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Long Xiansheng had said that if he found out that she had attacked any cultivator below the saint stage, he would teach her a lesson. Love Go Xiao Sei Ku with a threat, she did not dare to be careless. One careless mistake could be fatal. After thinking for a while, she decided to go to the eastern Xian domain to catch someone that Night Sorrow cared about. In this way, she could make Night Sorrow submit without resistance. She had read the information about Night Sorrow's growth and knew some things about him. After thinking for a while, she found a small town and bought a light yellow dress. She also did her hair a little and then took the transmission array to the eastern Xian domain. She planned to take a risk. As long as she did not meet a saint, her identity would not be exposed. She did not believe that her luck would be so bad. After being transmitted to Dongxian City, she found a tea house to drink tea and chat. At this time, the cultivators in the tea house were all talking about the recent situation outside. They talked about the destruction of several major forces and also mentioned the name of Night Sorrow, the Deputy Valley Master of the Medicine Valley. Where did our Deputy Valley Master come from? She asked. At this time, she was wearing a simple and elegant dress. Her beautiful hair was draped over her shoulders and her face was also very beautiful. She looked like a princess of a big family traveling. No one would doubt her at all. Baidu search Love Go Xiao Shua www.aichux. Com. The cultivators in the Medicine Valley who admired Night Sorrow very much told her about Night Sorrow's situation. After learning that Zhuyuan City was the place where Night Sorrow came from, she rushed to Zhuyuan City. When she arrived at a tavern in Zhuyuan City, she heard other people's discussions. Baidu search Love Go Xiao Shua www.aichux. Com. At this time, in a corner of the tavern, Chen Chen was drunk and shouting loudly, saying that Night Sorrow was not good. That's enough. Did Vice Valley Master Yi treat you badly? I brought you to Dongxian City but you didn't want to go. Instead, you wanted to use Vice Valley Master Ye's reputation to mess around. Who can you blame? It's your sworn brother who has no morals. A Medicine Valley disciple stood up. They could not bear to see others slander Yishang. Shi's eyes lit up when she heard the words of this disciple from the Medicine Valley. Since he was Night Sorrow's sworn brother, he must know a lot even without mentioning his value. Shi walked over, waved his arm, and subdued Chen Chen without anyone noticing. Then, he called for a beast carriage, threw Chen Chen onto it, and left the city. After leaving the city, Shi directly threw Chen Chen into a small forest and then controlled the water energy to rush on Chen Chen's head to wake him up. Stop playing dead, Night Sorrow's sworn brother. You still have some value. Does Night Sorrow have any relatives? Shi asked. Sworn brother. Since when did he treat me as his sworn brother? He only has his father in his eyes and doesn't take me seriously. If you want to find value from me, then you're blind. Chen Chen glanced at Shi and said. I'm blind. Well said. Now I want to ask you, what's the situation with Chen Chen's father? Shi asked while holding back her anger. Give me the spirit stone, or I won't tell you. Chen Chen sobered up at this time and understood the situation. He knew that this woman was not simple, so he wanted to exploit her. At this time, Shi took out a piece of upper spirit stone and threw it in front of Chen Chen. Tell me. Don't challenge my bottom line. Ha! It turns out that you're someone with status and family background. I told you, are you going to kill me? Swear that you won't kill me. Although I also want to kill Night Sorrow, the premise is that I can't die in your hands. Chen Chen looked at Yin Shi and said. You're young, but you're very scheming. But I admire you for this. I'm the Saint of the Silver Dusk. Your conditions are not bad. Come with me. I'll let you watch Night Sorrow die. Yin Shi glanced at Chen Chen. She found that Chen Chen was very scheming. Not to mention his talent in cultivation, this scheming mind could work for her. Saint of the Silver Dusk. You're a saint? Chen Chen asked in surprise. Yes, so you're right to follow me. Now I'm going to catch Night Sorrow's adoptive father. Tell me the details. Yin Shi waved her hand and released the restriction on Chen Chen. Chen Chen did not hide anything and then told her about Night Sorrow's interpersonal relationships. We can't make too much noise and we can't catch people randomly. It's enough to catch his adoptive father alone. Yin Shi said. She did not want to make a big deal out of it now. The more secret it was, the better. B. Update C. New B. Fast Q. Then, under Chen Chen's lead, Yin Shi and Chen Chen went to the periphery of Longquan Resort. Saint of the Silver Dusk did not make a move. She had been waiting for an opportunity. In order not to alert the enemy, she could only wait. If she used force, the matter would spread. Killing to silence would not work either. The matter would still be exposed. Go and ask Father Gu to come out. Just ask him to come out. After thinking for a while, Saint of the Silver Dusk made a decision. At this time, she smiled. Because of Chen Chen's appearance, if something happened to Father Gu, others would only look for Chen Chen. It had nothing to do with her. Chen Chen nodded and entered the Longquan Resort, asking to see Father Gu. Seeing Chen Chen, Father Gu was very angry. What are you doing here? Father, don't be angry. Brother Night Sorrow isn't angry anymore. He's talking with several senior sisters in the city and asked me to invite you over. He also wants me to apologize to you alone. Chen Chen bowed and said. Humph, take me to see him. Father Gu snorted coldly. He wanted to ask Night Sorrow why he was paying attention to Chen Chen. He knew that Chen Chen had bad intentions, so there was no need to pay attention to him. After saying goodbye to Hai Luo and the others, Father Gu and Chen Chen left Longquan Resort. After leaving Longquan Resort, Father Gu was restrained by Yin Shi. Yin Shi just did not want to show up. It was too easy for her to make a move. After all, she just wanted to put the blame on Chen Chen for Father Gu's disappearance. After taking Father Gu hostage, Yin Shi took Father Gu and Chen Chen and flew directly out of this area. Then, they flew across the territorial sea to the Taiyue domain. After that, they were teleported to a courtyard on the periphery of the Silver Devil family in the Qingtian domain. Yin Shi took out a memory crystal and recorded Father Gu's image. Then, she said to Chen Chen, since you're following me, I won't treat you badly. It's not a problem to provide you with medicinal pills to enter the 5th or 6th rank. Now, go and buy 2 maids back to take care of him. Also, inquire about the people of Tianji Tower and Night Sorrow, mainly Night Sorrow. After Chen Chen nodded, he went out. He knew that his opportunity had come. Following a saint was the dream of many cultivators. Yin Shi returned to her original appearance and continued to meditate. At the same time, she was thinking about how to trick Night Sorrow out without anyone noticing. A few days after Chen Chen went out, he returned with 2 maids. Chapter 730. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Yin Shi repeatedly told Chen Chen not to touch Mr. Gu. It was not because she was kind, but because she knew that Night Sorrow had a strong character. If anything happened to Mr. Gu, she would have no hope of getting the body refining method that she wanted. After Chen Chen left for a while, Shi left as well. She was going to look for opportunities. At this moment, the two maidservants took out the strip of cloth from Father Gu's mouth. Child, those two aren't good people. They kidnapped me to blackmail others. Once she succeeds, she will definitely kill us in order to not leak the secret. At that time, all three of us will die. Why don't we escape? My adopted son is a big shot. He's the Deputy Valley Master of the Medicine Valley and the young Lord of the Night Moon Dynasty. It won't be a problem for him to help you, Father Gu said to the two maidservants. Old Man Gu could release his mount to attack the two maidservants, but he still wanted to persuade them. Because if he directly killed or ran away, it would be equivalent to harming the two maidservants. He didn't want to go against his heart. But the soul-cracking crystal has been planted in our heads. It's easy for us to be killed, one of the maidservants said. Baidu search AI Go female sign shao say www.aichuxs.com, we still have a chance to run. As long as we can find the people from Tianji Tower and the Night Moon Dynasty, you'll be fine. But if they succeed in threatening us, we'll really be finished, said Papa Gu. His body's energy was being controlled now, so it was best if he could convince the two girls. Sister Hua, what Uncle said makes sense. Those two are not good people. Once they succeed, they won't leave anyone alive. What do you think? The younger maid said. Little star, you might be right. This might be our fate. Let's take a gamble. If we succeed, we'll be free. If we fail, we'll die. There was no meaning in living like this. Love go little say could the older maidservant, Sister Hua, said. Then let's leave quickly. Time is life, Papa Gu said. The two maidservants untied the rope that tied Papa Gu and then helped him out of the courtyard. Wait a moment, I have a mount. Let's sit on it and find the nearest city to use the teleportation array. After they were some distance away, Old Man Gu released the silver-winged eagle and brought the two girls onto the mount. Uncle, thank you for not abandoning us. At this time, the two maidservants understood that Papa Gu didn't want to harm them. Papa Gu. She changed her clothes again and put on a veil. She teleported to Vast Sea City and crossed the Realm Sea to reach the island where Yishang and the others were cultivating. She was very cautious. She did not want to be discovered by Xia Longjun, Long Xiansheng, and the others. Although she could still escape using the wind element escape art, she would suffer serious injuries. She hit her cultivation level because a saint's chi was very sensitive. As long as she exposed her cultivation level, she would be sensed by other saints within a certain range. She was like an ordinary person, searching around the island. The island was very big. After searching around for 3 days, she saw the figures of the god-slaying team who were cultivating in the Realm Sea on top of a mountain. Then, she saw Night Sorrow entering the turbulent space in the Realm Sea. After thinking for a while, she changed her direction and entered the Realm Sea. Then, she headed towards the area where Night Sorrow was. Now, she just needed to show the memory crystal to Night Sorrow. By then, he would not resist. She lowered her cultivation base to the peak void inquiry stage and headed towards Night Sorrow in the turbulent space of the Realm Sea. Even though she had lowered her cultivation base, her comprehension of the realm was still there. Thus, she moved very quickly in the turbulent space and went past the area that the god-slaying team could detect. As she moved forward, she had the urge to curse because it was very strenuous for her to move forward in this area. However, she was still very far away from Night Sorrow. She could only see a shadow moving in the storm from afar. After raising her cultivation base to the Venerable Realm, she continued to move closer to Night Sorrow. When she was 10 li * 500 m per li, away from Night Sorrow, she could no longer move forward. Her current cultivation base had already reached the 3rd level of the Venerable Realm. She did not dare to raise her cultivation base any further as it would be easy for the saints of the Tianji Tower and the Eastern Profound region to discover her. Left with no choice, she took a deep breath and condensed her voice to call out to Night Sorrow. If you want your father to live, hurry up and come out. Night Sorrow, who was moving back and forth in the turbulent space, heard her voice and was stunned for a moment. Then, he dashed towards Shi's location. You are Saint Shi. How can you ignore Saint Long Xuanqing's warning and attack me? Night Sorrow looked at Shi coldly and said. Take a look at this first. If you want him to live, don't be so agitated. You can only come with me. She wrapped the memory crystal ball with her energy and threw it to Night Sorrow. After receiving the crystal ball, Night Sorrow moved his body to avoid the turbulent space. At the same time, he activated the memory crystal ball and watched it. After watching it, Night Sorrow was infuriated. Shi, you are also a dignified saint. There is no need for you to use such a despicable method, right? You guys forced me to do this. I won't fight you either. Are you coming with me or not? It's just a matter of a sentence. Shi looked at Night Sorrow and said. She didn't dare to make a move now. Although Shi wanted to grab Night Sorrow and leave, it was very difficult to catch Night Sorrow if she didn't raise her cultivation. If she raised her cultivation to the level of a high-level saint, she would be easily discovered by Xia Lanjun and the others. This was also the reason why Shi wanted to catch Father Gu. Update % latest unspecified currency sunt, I can go with you. But you have to promise not to hurt my Father Gu. If you want to let him go, you have to swear to the heavenly Tao. Night Sorrow exhaled and said. Although he knew that it was dangerous to follow Shi, he couldn't ignore Father Gu's safety. In Night Sorrow's heart, Father Gu was his family. When he was young, he sat on Father Gu's shoulder every day. Night Sorrow would never forget that because of him, Father Gu lost an arm. Night Sorrow already felt very guilty, so he didn't want Father Gu to be hurt again. I admire you for this. Come with me. After Shi swore, she shouted at Night Sorrow and left horizontally. She couldn't be discovered by the members of the God-slaying squad, so she had to avoid their line of sight and go ashore in another area. After going ashore, she didn't use force and continued to walk to the other side of the island. She didn't dare to use her cultivation here. When she arrived at the area leading to Haohai City, she looked at the realm sea and turned around. She reached out and grabbed Night Sorrow to her side. Then, she wrapped Night Sorrow with her saint's rule power and began to fly across the realm sea. Chapter 731. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. This is a wonderful novel for you to read. While Shi and Night Sorrow were on their way, Papa Gu and the two maidservants arrived at a city and started the teleportation. Because they had spirit stones, the teleportation was not a problem. After Papa Gu and the two maidservants arrived at Qingtian City, they asked for directions and went directly to the Tianji Tower branch. They found the supervisor and told him their identity and purpose. Lan Yuxuan appeared and reported to Lan Yuxuan while the manager was still in shock. They are from the Medicine Valley. They were captured. Wait here, said Lan Yuxuan. These two girls are in danger at any time. Can you remove their restrictions first? Otherwise, they will lose their lives if they discover that we have escaped, said Papa Gu. He could not bear to see these two innocent girls lose their lives. I will take out the soul-splitting crystals. They may be injured, but they will not die. Be prepared, said Lan Yuxuan. After seeing the two women nod, Lan Yuxuan first used her soul power to protect the insides of the two women's heads. Then, she wrapped the soul-breaking crystal with her energy and pulled it out of the two women's heads, removing the control over them. Love go little say W, Chu / top K, I will take these two soul-splitting crystals. I still have a use for them. Remember, don't leave. After that, Xia Lanjun rushed to the Celestial Peak Pavilion. She had to report to the headquarters. This matter was serious because Papa Gu had described it as Shi. When she arrived at the headquarters of Tianji Tower, Xia Longjun told Guo Xiao, who was overseeing the headquarters, about this matter. Give them temporary tokens and bring them here to protect them. Guo Xiao left the Celestial Terminus Tower's headquarters and headed for the teleportation array. He needed to go to the island in the Realm Sea to report this matter to Xia Longjun and the others. After all, Yin Shi's ultimate goal in capturing Papa Gu was Yi Shang. When Guo Xiao went to the Qingtian Domain teleportation array, Yin Shi and Night Sorrow had just left, so they had missed each other. When Guo Xiao arrived at the island in the Realm Sea, he reported the matter to Xia Longjun and the others. She captured Night Sorrow's father. Her target is Night Sorrow. Let's protect Night Sorrow first. Xia Longjun stood up and said. Xia Longjun found Wu Lingfei, who was meditating, and told her about this. When they went to the spatial storm zone in the Realm Sea to search for Night Sorrow, they couldn't find him anywhere. Something has happened. Yin Shi should have been here. That Yin Shi might be able to disguise herself, but Night Sorrow wouldn't. Go to the teleportation arrays of the major cities and ask. Xia Longjun's expression changed. She had guessed that Yin Shi would go crazy, but she didn't expect her to be so shameless. Then, the Tianji Tower group moved and found out that Night Sorrow had appeared in Haohai City's teleportation formation and Qingtian City's teleportation formation. I must kill her. Wu Lingfei's face was frosty. She was furious because Night Sorrow's life and death were unknown. Don't be anxious, Mistress Wu Quebec. If Yin Shi wanted to kill someone, she wouldn't have brought Night Sorrow with her. She must have some ulterior motive, said Xia Longjun. Chief Enforcer Guo, go to that island and look after Night Sorrow's team. Don't leak the news of Night Sorrow's accident. At the same time, go to the eastern Xian region and inform Long Xiansheng, said Xia Longjun. Guo Xiao nodded and left. Chief Enforcer, arrange for all our spies to find out where those two people are, said Xia Longjun to Lin Yuandao. After spreading the net, they anxiously waited for news. Night Sorrow was brought along by Yin Shi. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow secretly threw all his important things into the spacetime pagoda. He knew that Yin Shi must have some ulterior motive for him. Therefore, he had to fight a battle of wits and courage to fight for a chance to survive. With the restriction of the Heavenly Tao Oath, Yin Shi wouldn't kill Papa Gu. Therefore, Night Sorrow had to consider his own danger. Yin Shi brought Night Sorrow to a courtyard in the outer region of the Silver Devil Mountain Villa where she had hidden Papa Gu. Looking at the rope on the ground, Night Sorrow smiled. Yin Shi, I didn't expect you to miscalculate. This mountain area is thousands of miles away from the outside. His energy has been sealed by me. Can he escape? Yin Shi snorted coldly. That's not important. Tell me what you want. You've already been exposed. Papa Gu will definitely tell Tianji Tower when he gets out. How can you hide what you've done? Night Sorrow laughed. Yin Shi took out 2 soul-breaking crystals and crushed them. Those 2 bitches really deserve to die. I'll go and capture your father now. I'll deal with you after I catch him. Yin Shi went in circles to capture Papa Gu to threaten Night Sorrow. Firstly, she wanted Night Sorrow to compromise and hand over the cultivation technique. Secondly, she didn't want to expose herself. If Papa Gu escaped, she would definitely be exposed. Therefore, she planned to continue chasing after him. You don't have to go through so much trouble. It's useless. I'm not afraid to tell you that during the beast tide in the unbounded desolation, I captured many level 4 silver-winged eagles and gave one to Papa Gu. With a level 4 silver-winged eagle as a mount, do you think he can escape? I'm afraid he's already at Tianji Tower's headquarters, Night Sorrow said with a smile. What are you laughing at? Yin Shi waved her hand and slapped Night Sorrow. You can kill me now. You've already been exposed. As long as I'm dead, you'll be hunted down. I believe that Long Xiansheng is a man of his words. If he says it, he will definitely do it, Night Sorrow said as he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Yin Shi's expression changed. She also understood that this was the truth. If Night Sorrow died, Long Xiansheng and the others would definitely not let it go. Night Sorrow, as long as you hand over the cultivation technique, I won't kill you and let you go immediately. From then on, we won't interfere with each other's business, Yin Shi said. So that's what you're thinking. Then I'm sorry to tell you that you're thinking too much. Kill me if you can. Night Sorrow sneered. At this time, he understood Yin Shi's intention. She was trying to get his cultivation technique. Don't force me. If I kill you, I can also get the ancient book from your storage ring, Yin Shi said coldly. Is that so? Then I'll tell you something. If you kill me, you can take back the time-space pagoda. However, as my partner, she will help me do one thing, and that is to destroy everything I left in the time-space pagoda, Night Sorrow said as he held the time-space pagoda in his hand. Yin Shi squinted her eyes and looked at Night Sorrow. She was very clear that what Night Sorrow said was the truth. Since the time-space pagoda had recognized Night Sorrow as its master, even if Night Sorrow died, it would still complete the final arrangement of Night Sorrow. You're in a dilemma now. Do you want to kill me with the price of hiding like a dog in the future, or do you want me to leave and end this matter here, right? Night Sorrow looked at Yin Shi and said. He understood Yin Shi's current state of mind. Looking at Night Sorrow, Yin Shi was very annoyed. She used her energy to imprison Night Sorrow. Her left hand grabbed the time-space pagoda, and her right hand directly slapped Night Sorrow. So what if you take it? She's mine. Can you use it? Can you take out the things inside? Night Sorrow stood up and said as he patted the soil off his body. Chapter 732. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Yin Shi was also in a dilemma. If she were to let Night Sorrow go, not only would she gain nothing, but she would also get into trouble and tarnish her reputation. What's the matter? If she didn't let Night Sorrow go, she would become the public enemy. Eastern Profound Region, North Sea Region, and Tianji Tower wouldn't let her go. Yin Shi could ignore some people, but she couldn't ignore Long Xuancheng's words. If Long Xiancheng was bent on killing her, then she could only live a life of seclusion, not daring to appear in front of others. Yi Shang wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth after Yin Shi slapped him. He sat cross-legged and meditated without saying a word. He knew that he couldn't anger Yin Shi at this time. Yin Shi was also in a dilemma. Let's go. Yin Shi stood up and grabbed Night Sorrow to her side. Then, she flew away. She didn't dare to stay here because she was worried that Xia Lanjun and the others would follow the clues and find this place. Night Sorrow didn't resist. But before Yin Shi grabbed him, he poured the energy in his right foot and stomped on the ground. Love go little say W, Chu, you seem to be very relaxed. While flying, Yin Shi turned her head to look at Night Sorrow. She was puzzled why Night Sorrow wasn't afraid. He wasn't even nervous. Why not? I have lived for 20 years, and I have already completed what I have been pursuing. To be honest, I don't have any obsessions. If there's something I can't let go of, it's the women around me. But I believe that even if something happens to me, they will take care of themselves, Night Sorrow said. You have only lived for 20 years, and you have already completed your pursuit. Yin Shi squinted her eyes and looked at Night Sorrow. She didn't understand. In the years before I started cultivating, I just hoped that Father Gu and the people of Bamboo Garden Village could live a good life. You might not know this, but Bamboo Garden City in the Medicine Valley region used to be a small village with only a few dozen families, Yi Shang said with a smile. When I entered Medicine Valley and started my cultivation, the Medicine Valley was facing a crisis. It was facing the annexation and attack of the Golden Flame sect. But now, the Golden Flame sect has been destroyed. Of course, this has something to do with Tianji Tower and Dongxian City's City Lord's office. But in fact, the Medicine Valley is one of the top forces in Eastern Profound region. Yishan brought up the issue of the Medicine Valley. Yishan brought up the issue of the Medicine Valley. Then I found out about my background. At that time, I wanted to make the Night Moon Dynasty rise again. Now, you know the situation of the Night Moon Dynasty. In addition, I sent several batches of top-grade resources to the people of the Night Moon Dynasty who retreated. Do you think the Night Moon Dynasty will rise again? So, no matter what you do, I have nothing to worry about. I am just a small cultivator who has just entered the Venerable Realm. It is worth it for me to risk the future of a veteran saint like you, Yin Shi. Night Sorrow still had a smile on his face. Bastard! After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Yin Shi slapped Night Sorrow again because she couldn't control her anger. Night Sorrow had nothing to worry about, so it was difficult to threaten him. Half an hour later, Yin Shi took Night Sorrow into a cave residence. The interior of the cave residence was tidied up like a small room. The furnishings were also full of ancient charm. The light pink bed made the cave residence similar to a woman's boudoir. After entering the cave residence, Yin Shi threw Night Sorrow to the ground and then set up a restriction formation at the entrance of the cave. Search. I will let them search. Not to mention that it is like looking for a needle in a haystack, they can't even find it here. Looking from the outside, this is a mountain wall. The sound and energy here can't be transmitted out. After setting up the restriction formation, Yin Shi's face was full of anger. You are ruthless. Do whatever you want, Night Sorrow said. Yin Shi looked at Night Sorrow and didn't know what to do. She was thinking about how to get Night Sorrow's body refining technique and then let Night Sorrow leave. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Yin Shi didn't want to cut off her escape route. You won't lose anything if you give me the body refining technique. As long as I get the technique, I will let you go. I will do what I say, Yin Shi said. Hee, if I give you the body refining technique, it means that I am afraid and give in. In the future, I will not be able to face my own heart. As a person, as a cultivator, I am fearless. You can't make me afraid. Night Sorrow said and closed his eyes. It was impossible for him to hand over the myriad Tao Tome. At the same time, Night Sorrow operated the energy of the myriad Tao Tome to refine the energy that Yin Shi left in his body to imprison his genuine chi. Damn it! Yin Shi knew very well that Night Sorrow was telling the truth. After cursing, Yin Shi stepped forward and punched and kicked Night Sorrow. She directly kicked Night Sorrow and beat him for a while. After being beaten for a while, Night Sorrow didn't fight back. He still had the ability to fight. He had the spatial crack and the myriad Tao Tome. He also had the power of the soul to attack. However, Night Sorrow didn't move. It was meaningless to fight back. It would only alert Yin Shi and continue to control his fighting strength. Don't you want to say anything? Yin Shi, who was panting, asked. She didn't use any energy. She was just punching and kicking to vent her anger, so she was quite tired. There is nothing to say. If you want to vent your anger, then continue, Night Sorrow said as he exhaled. Wait for me to rest first. I will slowly play with you. When I have time to torture you, you will be satisfied. Yin Shi pulled over the praying mat at the corner of the bed and sat down. Yin Shi needed to organize her thoughts. Night Sorrow wasn't moved by force or persuasion. If this continued, she wouldn't be able to get what she wanted. Even if she continued to waste her energy, she wouldn't be able to get anything. Yin Shi meditated and thought. Night Sorrow used the energy of the myriad Tao Tome to refine the energy that Yin Shi controlled in his dantian. As for Yin Shi's punches and kicks, Night Sorrow wasn't affected at all. A rank 5 cultivator with a spiritual weapon couldn't even break through the defense of his body. If Yin Shi didn't use her energy to attack, it was no different from scratching an itch. However, Night Sorrow didn't show anything. After all, he still wanted to make Yin Shi numb. Yin Shi didn't say anything. She was thinking about how to make Night Sorrow compromise. She didn't move. Night Sorrow continued to refine the energy that She left in his body. Although his myriad Tao Tome's energy contained the power of desolates, She's energy was very pure. Therefore, it wasn't easy to refine it. The two of them were in a deadlock. Night Sorrow was thinking about how he could escape. As for the pagoda of time and space, it was in She's hands. Night Sorrow wasn't afraid. As long as he escaped, She would immediately lose the pagoda of time and space. This was because Night Sorrow had a connection with the pagoda of time and space. With this connection leading the way for Long Xiansheng, she wouldn't be able to escape. Chapter 733. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow and Shi were in a stalemate, but Wu Lingfei and the others were extremely anxious. Love go little say netku at the same time. Lan Yuxuan told everyone that the two soul-breaking crystals in her hands had shattered, which meant that the other party knew that Father Gu and the two maids had escaped. Wu Lingfei looked at Tianyu beside her and knew that Night Sorrow was still fine. Night Sorrow and Tianyu were connected through their souls. If something happened to Night Sorrow, Tianyu would also change. You don't have to worry too much. If those people didn't escape, then no one would know that she did it, so she might be unscrupulous. Now, unless she reaches the stage where she doesn't care about anything, she will have scruples and think about what she will face in the future, Long Xianqing said. The main thing is that she has no bottom line. Wu Lingfei was full of worry. She should be after something. If I'm not wrong, it should be Night Sorrow's body refining method. The Silver Devil family's innate skill is the wind elemental escape, but because it consumes her own blood, she can't use it continuously. So, strengthening her body is her urgent pursuit. Night Sorrow's body is extremely tyrannical and is currently the top in the 9-domain world, so she has her eyes on it, Xia Lanjun said. The key is that Night Sorrow has a strong character and won't compromise. This is what I'm most worried about, Wu Lingfei said. No matter what, she won't kill him easily, Long Xianqing said. At present, they couldn't find Shi's whereabouts, so there was nothing they could do. #First edition, Master K, give the order to catch Qin Qin. Night Sorrow's father said that Shi asked Qin Qin to scout for information. Qin Qin must still be wandering outside, Xia Lanjun said to Lin Yuandao. Night Sorrow was meditating on his own and didn't care about Shi's thoughts at all. Have you thought about it? After meditating for 2 hours, Shi still couldn't think of a way. Because if Night Sorrow didn't take out the cultivation technique, she had no other way. There is nothing to think about. If you can't think of anything, I will leave. There is no point in wasting time like this. I will not give you the cultivation technique. You don't have the guts to kill me. Night Sorrow brought out a jar of wine and took a sip. You're pretty sure, aren't you? Even if I can't kill you, I can still take care of you. Shi got up and started punching and kicking Night Sorrow, knocking him down once again. Night Sorrow did not get up after being kicked. He still had a smile on his face. Continue. Can you be any more shameless? Shi squatted down and grabbed the collar of Yi Shang's robe. If I'm shameless, then who's the shameless one between the two of us? Night Sorrow was furious. He lifted his leg and kicked between Shi's legs. Night Sorrow's kick wasn't weak either. It directly kicked Shi, who was unprepared. Shi covered the area between her legs with both hands. She bit her lips and stared at Night Sorrow. Her eyes were about to burst into flames. Night Sorrow's kick had shattered her dignity. After taking a deep breath, Shi stood up and waved her arms to remove the footprint between her legs. She then went in front of Night Sorrow again and started punching and kicking him again. Night Sorrow's body shrank. He hugged his knees with both hands and ignored Shi's violent beating. Night Sorrow's strong point was his resistance. If he wasn't compared to a saint, even a paragon should not be stronger than him. You dare to kick me everywhere? I'll let you kick me. She used her saint's rule power to suppress Night Sorrow. She then stepped on Night Sorrow's legs and pushed Night Sorrow's upper body backward. Night Sorrow resisted for a while and gave up. He didn't want to use the myriad Tao Tome's energy. That was equivalent to exposing his trump card. Besides, even if he used the myriad Tao Tome, he wouldn't be able to withstand Shi's attacks. Hence, he could only endure. After straightening Night Sorrow's body, Shi used her energy to fix Night Sorrow's body. She then kicked Night Sorrow's crotch twice. Night Sorrow's face turned purple with anger. This was because he had cultivated the outer part of the myriad Tao Tome. Otherwise, he would have been seriously injured. You're fine. Alright, I'll see if you're fine. She gritted her teeth and untied Night Sorrow's pants. She pulled out Night Sorrow's big bird and took out her long sword with her right hand. Night Sorrow was dumbfounded. She was too ruthless. She could even do such a thing. At this time, she also released Night Sorrow's head. I'll ask you, are you going to give me the tome or not? If you don't, I'll raise my sword and you won't be able to be a man in the future. You can try. If you dare to cut it, I won't live. If I die, something will happen to my mount. You know what I mean. Night Sorrow said. At the same time, he was prepared. If she really wanted to make a move, he would use Soul Extinguishing Slash and Space Ren to resist. He wouldn't let she hurt his family jewels. She held Night Sorrow's baby in her left hand and the long sword in her right hand. She looked at Night Sorrow's face and thought. She thought about whether she should really stab him and whether Night Sorrow would commit suicide. If Night Sorrow didn't want to live, she wouldn't be able to control it. At that time, things would get out of hand and there would be no turning back. Looking at Night Sorrow's calm face, she was really angry. She was so angry that her body was trembling. Because Night Sorrow's face was still full of indifference. As she trembled with anger, another problem arose. She held Night Sorrow's baby in her left hand and shook it up and down. Night Sorrow's originally wilted bird suddenly became energetic and stood upright. Dirty. She turned the long sword in her right hand. Before Yi Shang could react, she used the back of the sword to fiercely hit Yi Shang's bird that was about to fly away. After that, she hit it twice from left to right. No matter how strong Night Sorrow was, he also screamed at this time. Although his body was tyrannical, it didn't mean that he didn't feel pain. These two fierce hits were dozens of times more painful than Shi's punches and kicks. Yo! You know it's painful. I thought you wouldn't scream. Hearing Night Sorrow's scream, she smiled. Previously, when she punched and kicked Night Sorrow, he didn't have any reaction. Now that Night Sorrow knew how to scream, that was where the pain was, and she had a place to attack. You bitch, kill me if you have the ability. Otherwise, I will let you have a taste of this. Night Sorrow, who had recovered, cursed. In the past, Night Sorrow had never cursed, but now he was really angry. This she was not like a saint at all. She had no bottom line at all. Let me have a taste of this. You think too much. Since you are afraid of pain here, let's start from here. Don't worry, I won't cut it off for you. You don't have to commit suicide. She looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow's face changed. He knew that this woman who had no bottom line was capable of doing anything. Night Sorrow closed his eyes and continued to work hard to refine the energy in his dantian. He had to seize the time. If there was a chance, he would run away. The situation was not optimistic. This she was simply crazy. Chapter 734. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by shall. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow closed his eyes and did not speak. Baidu search AI go female sign shall say www.aichuxs. Calm, don't be silent. If you don't speak, it will prove that this is your weakness. She said. Have you never seen a man before? Can you be any more despicable? Night Sorrow cursed again. I've never seen a man like this before. Yi Shang, I'll tell you the truth. One of my intentions is to get your body refining ancient book. If you don't cooperate, I'll have to sacrifice my virginity to absorb all your qi, blood, and essence for my own use. Moreover, it's useless for you to refine the energy I left in your body. You won't be able to refine it without 10 days or half a month. When the time comes, I'll just make up for it, said Shi. At this time, Night Sorrow was extremely shocked because he knew that there were some evil cultivation methods and perverts. Back when he was doing a mission in the Medicine Valley, he saw 2 demonesses practicing such methods. The men who were caught were all turned into bones. You are a woman, you are a saint. You should at least leave some face for your man, right? Why are you doing this? Night Sorrow shouted at Shi. I don't have a man. Besides, who will know? Won't I lose face? I don't have much time for you to think about it. I have obtained this ancient book before. Let me take a look at it now. Shi took out a book and started to study it. Yi Shang began to curse. However, after a few curses, Shi shackled Yi Shang's head. Be quiet for this seat. Night Sorrow's whole body was immobilized. He could not curse even if he wanted to. He could only continue to refine the energy wrapped around his dantian. Original copy of the song. Our Herr V. There was one thing that made Night Sorrow very happy, and that was Shi's miscalculation. Night Sorrow calculated that he would be able to refine the energy that Shi left in his body in 2 days. At that time, he would have to take the risk of using the spatial rend. Night Sorrow was lying on the ground. Fortunately, the Silver Dusk tribe paid attention to the quality of life. The ground was covered with soft animal skins, so Night Sorrow didn't feel uncomfortable lying on the ground. To be precise, Night Sorrow had lost his chance to escape. When he had discovered that Father Gu had escaped, he should have immediately used the spatial rend to escape. However, at that time, he had still been thinking of a foolproof plan. In the end, his dantian's energy had been sealed, so he couldn't use the spatial rend to escape. Without his quintessential qi and the protection of the void protective qi shield, the success rate of using the spatial rend to escape was greatly reduced. At the same time, Night Sorrow was also communicating with Little Kong. When he was about to make a move, Little Kong would assist him. Because the space-time pagoda was a sage treasure, Shi couldn't keep it in her storage ring, so she kept it by her side. Night Sorrow also explained the situation to Little Kong. He asked if she would be killed by Shi and refined the space-time pagoda if he really ran away. Little Kong's meaning was very clear. If she had enough energy, then Shi wouldn't be able to do anything to her. Night Sorrow's soul force surged, and he took out the high-grade and top-grade spirit stones that he had thrown into the space-time pagoda. He told Little Kong to refine them if the situation was urgent. She would go and stall Shi. He would bring Long Xiansheng over and find Shi through their soul link. In addition, Night Sorrow also said that if he ran away and couldn't refine the space-time pagoda in a short period of time, Shi could only throw it away. After knowing the situation, Little Kong told Night Sorrow to run away if he had the chance. She would be fine, so Night Sorrow didn't have to worry. She looked at the cultivation technique. Sometimes her face would blush, and sometimes she would frown. There were many parts of the cultivation technique that a woman without a man like her couldn't accept. However, she still slowly paid attention to it. 2 days later, Night Sorrow had almost finished refining the energy that Shi had left in his body. However, at this time, Shi also stood up. She had finished studying the cultivation technique. Although she hadn't come into contact with this cultivation technique, who was Shi? She was an expert that was second only to Long Xiansheng, Heavenly Underworld Saint, and Xie Lanjun. She could easily master an ancient book. You haven't decided yet? Let me tell you, I have almost finished studying the cultivation technique. If you don't hand over the ancient book, I can only use force to absorb your blood and essence. She kept the ancient book and said, "Don't be delusional. My heart is like iron. If I am not interested in you, you can't do anything." Night Sorrow said coldly, "Well, I am not afraid of you. There is a kind of snake in this mountain called the red scale snake. This snake is not poisonous, but it can induce aphrodisiac. It will be very useful to deal with you. I will go and catch it now." She waved her arm and used her energy to pull Night Sorrow to her side. Then, she left the cave. She wanted to gain experience from being taken advantage of. She didn't let Night Sorrow out of her sight. "Can you be more shameless? Can you pull up my pants?" Night Sorrow scolded while being wrapped in She's energy. Because She didn't help him tidy up his pants, the big bird with 2 red marks was still outside. "I have decided to be shameless. That's it." She ignored Night Sorrow's scolding and continued to fly in the mountain. Under the probing of her soul power, she easily caught a pair of red scale snakes. Then, she returned to the cave and sealed the cave again. Night Sorrow used all his strength to refine the energy that She left in his body. He knew that he would have to face She's shameless actions next. She had a great figure and was very beautiful. Especially her long silver hair, it added a lot of flirtatious aura. However, Night Sorrow was afraid. This She was currently a pink skeleton. The energy that She left in Night Sorrow's body was getting lesser and lesser. Only a thin layer of energy was left around Night Sorrow's dantian. When Night Sorrow used all his strength to refine the energy that She left in his body, She made a move. She kicked Night Sorrow flat on the animal skin and killed the female red scale snake. She raised her head and drank the blood of the red scale snake. Then, she cut off the head of the male red scale snake. She opened Night Sorrow's mouth with one hand and forced the blood of the male red scale snake into Night Sorrow's mouth with the other hand. "Now that things have come to this, I can only let you take advantage of me," she said. At this moment, her face was flushed. Night Sorrow was circulating the energy in his body to suppress the blood of the red scale snake. While Night Sorrow was suppressing the blood of the red scale snake and refining the energy that She left in his body, She's pants were pulled down. With a shake of her hands, she pulled down Night Sorrow's pants. She pulled down Night Sorrow's pants. Then, she took a piece of red muslin and threw it on Night Sorrow's face. There were some things that she didn't want Night Sorrow to see. Night Sorrow was anxious. If he didn't refine the energy that she imprisoned in his dantian, he would be in trouble. If he used the space crack now, he would enter the space turbulence. The distance that he could travel would be very short. There was no way he could escape. She looked at Night Sorrow's flying bird that was still listless. She picked up the corpse of the male red scale snake and smeared some blood on Night Sorrow's flying bird. Chapter 735. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Seeing Night Sorrow's wilted bird, she undressed and sat on Night Sorrow's body. Then, she slowly squatted down. Although she had never touched a man before, She's body was ready after eating the blood of the red-scaled snake. She supported Night Sorrow's wilted bird with one hand and sat on it. The moment she sat on it, she let out a cry. At the same time, she operated her true chi and performed a cultivation method of plucking. At this moment, Night Sorrow finished refining the energy that she left in his body. Yi Shang shouted in his heart. His genuine chi burst out and broke free from She's restraints. Then, the energy of the myriad Tao Bible burst out. He reached out his hands and grabbed She's arms, who had her back to him, and pulled. With Night Sorrow's pull, She's body sat firmly on Night Sorrow's body. Night Sorrow's thick spear pierced into She's body. The pain of her vital parts being torn apart caused She's true chi to become chaotic. it ran around her body uncontrollably. Yishang grabbed Yin Shi's hands tightly. After restraining them, he stood up and pushed Yin Shi to the edge of the pink bed. He pressed Yin Shi down tightly and then used the soul destruction slash to slash at Yin Shi's spirit sea. Night Sorrow wanted to injure Yin Shi as much as possible and then escape. At this moment, Yin Shi was in a state of chi deviation. Her true chi was chaotic and uncontrollable. Her spirit ocean did not have any defense and was instantly cut by Night Sorrow's soul destruction slash. When Night Sorrow's soul destruction slash cut into Yin Shi's spirit ocean, Yin Shi began to struggle. The soul energy in her spirit ocean surged and began to block Night Sorrow's attack. However, it was too late. Night Sorrow's soul extermination crescent moon blade had already entered her spirit sea. Seeing that there was a soul pearl in her spirit sea, it headed towards the soul pearl, which was also the god pearl. With the impact of Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash crescent moon blade, Yin Shi's blood-curdling screams continued. This was an attack on her foundation. She didn't have the energy to pay attention to the situation of the energy in her body. She could only mobilize her soul power to defend herself, using all her strength to block Night Sorrow's attack on her spirit sea. When Night Sorrow used his full power to execute the soul destruction slash, his body also hit Silver's body. He attacked Yin Shi's delicate body parts so that Yin Shi wouldn't have the energy to attack. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs.com. Night Sorrow had also noticed Yin Shi's situation. He knew that Yin Shi was possessed by Zhou Hua. The energy in her body was chaotic, and she had no energy or ability to fight back. Once again, Night Sorrow fiercely hit Yin Shi's back twice. Then, he took 2 steps back and used Yin Shi's skirt to wipe the bloodstains on the big bird. Then, he pulled up his pants. While doing this, Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash crescent moon blade was still slashing wildly in Yin Shi's spirit sea. After pulling up his pants, Night Sorrow took out the 5-clawed pterosaur tendon and tied Yin Shi's hands behind her back. Then, he tied her legs as well. Then, he hit Yin Shi's dantian with true chi to seal it. Originally, Night Sorrow didn't have the chance to seal Yin Shi's dantian. Seeing that Yin Shi's true chi was chaotic, he knew that she had no ability to fight back. After Night Sorrow sealed Yin Shi's dantian, Yin Shi's true chi stabilized. However, most of her cultivation had dissipated. Night Sorrow felt that Yin Shi was now at Lan Yuxuan's level. She couldn't be much higher. OS original unspecified currency R, send after sealing Yin Shi's body, Night Sorrow's soul attack didn't stop. He continued to attack Yin Shi's spirit sea pearl. At this moment, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was placed below Yin Shi's neck. He was considering whether to kill her or not. Get her into the space-time pagoda and suppress her. Then, you can deal with her however you want. Shao Kong communicated with Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow thought for a moment. Then, he slashed fiercely at Yin Shi's spirit sea pearl again. When Yin Shi was defending herself, Shao Kong controlled the space-time pagoda to become bigger. He tried his best to pull Yin Shi's body into the space-time pagoda. Seeing that Yin Shi was resisting, Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash crescent moon blade continued to attack Yin Shi's spirit sea. Although Yin Shi's spirit sea had a strong soul power, Night Sorrow's crescent moon blade could still continue to attack. When the soul extinguishing slash crescent moon blade attacked, Night Sorrow's body flashed. He grabbed Yin Shi's ankle and pulled her into the space-time pagoda. At this moment, Shao Kong appeared beside Night Sorrow. Then, he used his energy to suppress Yin Shi. Night Sorrow, I really can't do anything to her outside. But now that she's inside, she's like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. So what if she's a saint? She can't communicate with the rules of heaven and earth here, Shao Kong said. Night Sorrow sat on the steps to rest. At the same time, he put on the storage ring that Shao Kong had returned to him. He also put away the top-grade spirit stones. He took a part of the top-grade spirit stones and left a part for Shao Kong. Night Sorrow wasn't afraid now. He controlled the soul-extinguishing/crescent moon blade casually. She couldn't force the crescent moon blade out of her spirit sea. When Night Sorrow lowered the frequency of the crescent moon blade's attack, She's condition improved a little. Night Sorrow, I admit defeat. Just kill me. I accept my fate, she said embarrassedly. At this moment, she looked very pitiful. Her naked body was covered in sweat. She tried her best to cover up the blood stains between her legs. Why do you have to do this? Night Sorrow said with a frown. The winner is the king, and the loser is the bandit. I have nothing to say. Maybe this is the price of doing something despicable, she said while gasping for breath. Yi Shang, subdue her. Her cultivation base is damaged, and she's lost most of her cultivation base. However, her soul cultivation base is still there, and so is her realm. She can still improve in the future. Little Kong communicated with Yi Shang. I won't kill you, just like you won't kill me. But you have to surrender, Night Sorrow said. You're delusional. I'm a saint, a 7-star saint. How can I surrender to a supremacy like you? That's a joke. If I want to die, I can do it. After saying this, she controlled her soul power to self-destruct. At this moment, Night Sorrow's crescent moon blade stirred in She's spirit sea, making her soul power unable to gather. After struggling for a while, She gave up. You can't keep doing this, right? You'll self-destruct if you're not careful. Do I have to keep preventing you from committing suicide? But that's fine. I can still afford it, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, you can torture her. As long as she doesn't resist, you can control her by leaving a strand of soul power in her God orb. At that time, you'll be able to feel the fluctuation of her soul power. It'll be impossible for her to commit suicide, Shao Kong communicated with Night Sorrow. I didn't expect you to have so many ideas. Night Sorrow glanced at Shao Kong who was beside him. Then, Night Sorrow controlled the crescent moon blade to slash at She's God orb. At this moment, She did something that surprised Night Sorrow. She let go of all her soul power defense and let Night Sorrow kill her. She wanted to die. She had always been an expert of the 9 regions and could be said to be the leader of the heroes. Today, she was humiliated in front of Night Sorrow. It was hard for She to accept it. In addition, half of her cultivation was destroyed. She no longer had the motivation to live. Chapter 736. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Because She did not resist, Night Sorrow's soul power successfully entered She's soul bead. Then, some fragments appeared in Night Sorrow's mind. Night Sorrow knew that it was She's memory. You shameless bastard. I asked you to kill me. What did you do? She cursed. Of course, she knew what was going on. At this moment, she was hysterical. I won't kill you. You just have to behave in the future. It won't be a problem for you to recover your strength. Night Sorrow was very happy that he successfully left his soul power in She's soul bead. That's impossible. You want to control me? That's absolutely impossible. She said. We don't need a day or two to decide the winner between us. I have the ability to make you submit. Night Sorrow's soul power vibrated. Following the vibration of Night Sorrow's soul power, she screamed and her body fell down again. Night Sorrow sat on the steps, took out a jar of wine and drank 2 mouthfuls. It's really not easy. She looked at Night Sorrow. She wanted to say something, but she didn't say anything. She didn't understand how Night Sorrow undid the true chi binding. You can just stay here and cultivate. What you lack now is true chi energy. You can slowly recover. But don't have any crooked thoughts. As long as you have any thoughts, I will know. You also know how it feels to have your soul tortured. Night Sorrow's soul power vibrated again. Following the vibration of Night Sorrow's soul power, Shi screamed again. Looking at Shi, Night Sorrow untied the 5-clawed pterosaur tendon on Shi's body. I want to go out and take a bath. Shi took out a silk dress to cover her delicate body. Then, she looked at Night Sorrow and said, "All right, I'll say it again. Don't even think about it. You know what it means to have your soul taken over. As long as you leave the edge of the area I don't control, I will shake up your soul power." After saying that, Night Sorrow brought Shi out of the space-time pagoda. Go and take a bath. After opening the cave's restriction, don't close it again. Night Sorrow looked at Shi and said. Night Sorrow also went to the water source to get some water. He wanted to make tea. For the past few days, Night Sorrow's heart had been tense. It was really not easy to win a battle of wits and courage. Shameless. Shi scolded when she saw Night Sorrow walking over. I'm shameless. It's all your fault. You're the one who did all these shameless things. Don't blame it on me. After hearing Shi's words, Night Sorrow was furious. It was Shi who pushed him down first. Shi shrank back into the water and did not speak. Because Night Sorrow's words were true. She was the one who wanted to do those things. After getting water, Night Sorrow returned to the cave to make tea. He planned to go back after dealing with Shi's matter. He knew that Wu Lingfei and the others must be very worried during this period of time. After changing into a clean silk dress and combing her hair, Shi returned to the cave. However, her footsteps were a little unsteady. Some parts of her body had suffered heavy injuries. You should enter the space-time pagoda to cultivate. We can talk about it slowly. Night Sorrow said. You won't let me go? Shi looked at Night Sorrow and asked. You shouldn't ask this. Do you think it's possible? However, I think that even if you surrender, you won't lose anything. Night Sorrow said. Freedom and dignity are the most basic things in life. Without these two things, do you think the loss is nothing? Shi asked in return. But didn't you do the same to me? You even said that you would absorb my blood and essence. I think it's better for you to enter the space-time pagoda. Don't force me to use force. It won't feel good to attack your soul. Night Sorrow said as he dragged the space-time pagoda with his right hand. After thinking for a while, Shi did not speak. She knew that it was meaningless to resist because Night Sorrow would definitely persist. If Night Sorrow wanted to leave, he would definitely have her in his hands. Struggle. It was useless to struggle when the divine orb was controlled. Remember, I don't want to see those people. If I lose my dignity in front of them, no matter what, I won't live. Shi exhaled and said. Okay, we'll go out first. You continue to seal this place. Perhaps we will come back one day. Night Sorrow put away the tea set and left the cave. Shi, who followed behind, left the cave and casually sealed it. Don't resist. After instructing Shi, Night Sorrow's soul power wrapped around Shi and sent her into the space-time pagoda. Then, Night Sorrow began to fly. He still remembered the route and direction that Shi brought him. While flying, Night Sorrow and Shi communicated. Although Shi did not want to speak, she still told Night Sorrow that her cultivation was now at the 7th level of the martial honor realm. She had lost 80% of her true chi. Look at this chapter. Night Sorrow said that as long as one's comprehension was still there, one's true chi cultivation would be very easy. Night Sorrow pondered while flying. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow threw 3 dragon spirit pills into the space-time pagoda. At the same time, he told Shi about the usage of the dragon spirit pills. He was not worried that Shi could make a comeback. Soul control was the most thorough control. As long as Shi was alive, as long as Night Sorrow did not retract his soul power, Shi would forever be under his control. Shi didn't say anything. She took one and ate it. Night Sorrow did not pay attention to Yin Shi. After flying for more than a day, Night Sorrow arrived at Qingtian City. After arriving at Qingtian City, Night Sorrow thought for a while. He felt that if he did not say anything about Yin Shi, it would be difficult to subdue her if he angered her. After making his decision, Night Sorrow arrived at the Celestial Peak Pavilion and went directly to the Dark Tower. At this time, Xia Lanjun and the others were waiting for news in the Dark Tower. Chen Chen had been captured, but when they went to the stronghold, they did not find Yin Shi and Night Sorrow. The footprints that Night Sorrow left behind only proved that he was still alive and did not provide any clues. Seeing Night Sorrow arrive, the group stood up. Night Sorrow, you're back. She didn't do anything to you, right? Wu Lingfei went up and grabbed Night Sorrow's arms as she sized up Night Sorrow. I'm fine. After the matter was exposed, she didn't want to leave any leeway and asked me for a cultivation technique. I didn't give it to her, so she had no choice but to let me go. Night Sorrow helplessly lied. At this time, Night Sorrow also activated the soul power in Yin Shi's divine pearl so that Yin Shi could hear what he was saying. Fortunately, she still understands. It seems that the key to this matter was Father Gu running out. Otherwise, she wouldn't be worried that it would be exposed. Things would be troublesome then, Lin Yuandao said. Then, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. They had been very worried for the past few days. It's good that everything's fine. Yin Shi hasn't given up yet, so the situation can be controlled, Xia Lanjun said. Night Sorrow nodded and then asked about the God-slaying squad. After knowing that the God-slaying squad was fine, Night Sorrow planned to return to the island. The main reason was that he wanted to cultivate in seclusion and study Yin Shi. Yin Shi had to be subdued. Okay, then you go. Tian Yu is waiting outside. Take him away. Also, Father Gu is in your mansion number 9, Wu Lingfei said. Chapter 737. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. Shuanet provides you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow saw Tianyu outside the Ankh Palace and greeted Tianyu. He patted Tianyu's neck and led Tianyu out of the Tianji Tower headquarters, returning to mansion number 9. When Papa Gu saw Night Sorrow, he patted Night Sorrow's shoulder heavily with his single arm. I knew you'd be fine. I'm relieved that you're fine, Night Sorrow said as he hugged Papa Gu. Kei Xiang brewed tea for Night Sorrow and Papa Gu. Papa, the Longquan courtyard isn't safe. Let's stay here. Night Sorrow said. Tianji Tower's mansion area did not allow members outside of Tianji Tower to enter, but there were exceptions to everything. Night Sorrow was the young master, so it was reasonable for the young master's adoptive father to stay here. Besides, Papa Gu was personally sent over by Lin Yuandao. No, the Longquan courtyard is very good. If it weren't for that bastard Chin Chen, this wouldn't have happened, Papa Gu said. The matter this time has been resolved, so it should be safe, but you should stay here for a few days first. Night Sorrow originally wanted to say that it would be fine to go back, but he thought of another problem, which was Su Mu. If Su Mu had evil intentions, it would be a big problem. After drinking the tea, he let Papa Gu rest. Night Sorrow entered the secret training room and then entered the space-time pagoda. Seeing Night Sorrow enter, Yin Shi, who was meditating, stood up. It's better to continue refining the dragon spirit pill. I want to ask something, what's the situation with Su Mu? Night Sorrow sat on the steps of the space-time pagoda and asked. It's easy for me to refine the dragon spirit pill. I've finished refining it, Yin Shi said. Night Sorrow was shocked. He had to refine the dragon spirit pill for 20 days, but Yin Shi had finished refining it in 2 days. It was simply terrifying. After thinking about it for a while, Yi Shang understood. Yin Shi was a 7-star saint. Although her cultivation was destroyed, she still had some of her abilities. Although he was shocked, Night Sorrow asked, what's the situation with Su Mu? Will he threaten my family again? I don't want to say too much. After all, as his master, I can't betray him. However, he's an unscrupulous person. But I'm not sure if he will hurt your family. Love Go Little Say Network W. Chuyin she hesitated and said hesitated. Alright, I understand. Yi Shang nodded. He was quite satisfied with Yin Shi's answer. After pondering for a moment, Yi Shan took out 2 pieces of ice spirit blood essence and handed it to Yin Shi. This is a resource for replenishing blood qi. Your blood qi has been injured before, try to see if it can be replenished. It's useless for you to do this. I won't surrender, Yin Shi said. Do you want me to force you? I don't want to torture a woman, Night Sorrow said with a sigh. I might be able to tolerate losing my freedom, but I will never give up my dignity, Yin Shi said while looking at Night Sorrow. Dignity? You have no dignity with me. Don't you understand? You've already treated me that way. Do you still have dignity? Night Sorrow was a little angry when he heard Yin Shi's words. I owe you something, so I won't say anything. However, in front of others, I'm sage Yin Shi said. In front of others, I'll leave you with dignity. However, in front of me, you have to be obedient. This is non-negotiable. Night Sorrow warned Yin Shi with his soul power and left the space-time pagoda. He wanted to give Yin Shi time to think. After leaving the space-time pagoda, Night Sorrow fell into deep thought. He had many enemies, and Father Gu's safety was his weakness. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that he had to persuade Father Gu to go to the city in the sky. Only then would he be at ease. Su Mu was not a supremacy. He would be courting death if he went to the city in the sky. Yi Linglan was in the city in the sky. Besides, if he was not familiar with the city in the sky, he could not teleport there. After cultivating for a night and having breakfast with Father Gu, Night Sorrow told him his thoughts and concerns about his safety. That's fine. I'll go to the city in the sky with you, Father Gu said. He did not want to be a burden to Night Sorrow and make him worry all the time. Then, Night Sorrow sent Father Gu to the city in the sky and told Yi Linglan about Father Gu. Night Moon was young master's adoptive father, so his status was extremely noble. Yi Linglan bowed and expressed to Night Sorrow that there would be no problem. After making arrangements for Father Gu, Night Sorrow left. Night Sorrow's 2 potential opponents were Ji Yuhao and Su Mu. However, the city in the sky was not a place where the 2 of them could behave atrociously. As for Chen Chen's matter, Night Sorrow did not want to give up. After returning to the Qingtian territory, Night Sorrow went to Tianji Tower and went to the secret tower. In the secret tower, Night Sorrow saw Lin Yuandao and Guo Xiao. Kid, why are you back again? Lin Yuandao asked. He was genuinely happy that Night Sorrow had returned safely. If something had happened to young Master Night Sorrow, it would have been a huge blow to Tianji Tower. Help me put up a bounty. I must catch him, Night Sorrow said. Who? Guo Xiao asked. Chen Chen and Su Mu. Chen Chen betrayed my adoptive father. He must be caught. Also, Su Mu threatened to kill me. He's an unscrupulous person. I want to find him and kill him first to prevent future trouble, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow also wanted to kill Ji Yuhao, but he was wanted with great fanfare. It was equivalent to declaring war on the Ji Yu family. Night Sorrow did not have the ability to start a war with the Ji Yu family, so he planned to endure it for now. Chen Chen has been captured by Tianji Tower and is now in the dungeon. As for Su Mu, I'll take care of it. Do you need him alive? If not, issue a kill order, Guo Xiao said. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, Chen Chen, I don't want to see him again. I can tolerate other things, but I can't accept repaying kindness with enmity and hurting Father Gu. Director Guo can handle this matter. As for Su Mu, he can't arouse my interest in fighting. If I encounter him, I'll deal with him directly. If it was someone stronger than him, Night Sorrow would kill him himself. Sumu had already been defeated by him and had not yet entered the venerable realm. Knight Sorrow felt that there was no need to waste time. This was the mentality of a powerhouse because Sumu was no longer qualified to be his opponent. There was no point in stepping on an opponent who had been stepped on once. Okay, you're right. There's no need to waste energy on someone who's no match for you, Lin Yuandao said. After thinking for a moment, Knight Sorrow clenched his fists and loosened them. Chen Chen is a pitiful person. Don't kill him. Destroy his cultivation and throw him to Bamboo Garden City. Tell the city lord of Bamboo Garden City that it's my order. Also, don't allow him to take a step out of Bamboo Garden City. Lin Yuandao and Guo Xiao looked at each other and nodded. They also supported Knight Sorrow's decision. After giving the instructions, Knight Sorrow left. He was now going to the island in the Realm Sea to cultivate. While cultivating, he also had to deal with Yin Shi's matter. 6 #permanent % exemption from FW Fee T small, E say, he's still kind, Guo Xiao said. Chapter 738. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. After leaving the Tianji Tower, Knight Sorrow rushed to the island in the Domain Sea. It was very convenient with the teleportation array. In less than a day, Knight Sorrow returned to his tent. At this time, the other members of the god-slaying team were cultivating. No one knew about Knight Sorrow's accident. Knight Sorrow first went to Wu Lingfei's tent. Have you arranged for Old Man Gu's matter? Wu Lingfei looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. Yes, I sent him to the city in the sky. It's enough to suffer once. Knight Sorrow said. You're right. There are all kinds of people now. There's no bottom line. If you can prevent it, do it. Wu Lingfei nodded. Then, Knight Sorrow and Wu Lingfei went to visit Long Xiansheng. It's good that you're back. Otherwise, I wouldn't have let her go. You still have to work hard to cultivate. Strength is the only way to protect yourself. Long Xiansheng said. After visiting all the people he should visit, Knight Sorrow returned to his tent. After returning to the tent, Knight Sorrow entered the space-time pagoda. Seeing Knight Sorrow, Yin Shi stood up and said, What do you want? I'm going to solve your problem now. Are you going to submit or not? Knight Sorrow looked at Yin Shi and asked. Yin Shi turned her head and didn't answer because she was unwilling to submit. If she didn't submit, her soul would be controlled by Knight Sorrow. Then let's fight. Knight Sorrow sighed and then shook the soul power left in Yin Shi's divine pearl. As Knight Sorrow's soul power shook, Yin Shi held her head and fell down. The pain that went deep into the soul was not something she could resist. Little Kong, go to the top floor. Don't come here. Knight Sorrow said to Little Kong. There were some things he didn't want Little Kong to know. Okay. Then I'll go to the top floor and not observe this place. Shao Kong then left Knight Sorrow's side. Knight Sorrow took out a stone stool made of spirit jade and sat on it. Then, he began to cultivate. At the same time, his soul power was constantly vibrating. However, Knight Sorrow soon gave up on cultivating because Yin Shi's cries and moans kept ringing out. He just couldn't calm down. Stop. Don't torture me anymore. Or you can just kill me. Yin Shi raised her head and looked at Yishang. Her eyes were full of begging. I can't kill you. Your cultivation will recover. It just takes time. You're one of the 9 zone's top fighters. I can't just lose you like this. Knight Sorrow shook his head and continued to vibrate his soul power. At this moment, he wanted to exploit Yin Shi's pride and make her submit to him. As Knight Sorrow's soul power continued to vibrate, Yin Shi covered her head and fell down again. She couldn't bear the pain that came from the depths of her soul. After half an hour, Yin Shi, whose face was full of sweat, rolled to Knight Sorrow's side. Stop, I admit defeat. / positive $V version first post, what do you admit? Night's sorrow didn't stop vibrating. He wanted to take Shi down in one go. Baidu search AI go xiao shua www.aichux.com. Ah. I admit defeat. Shi cried out in pain. She was unwilling to admit defeat from the bottom of her heart. Night's sorrow nodded and stopped torturing Shi's soul. Then, he stood up and said, then I'll say a few things. In front of outsiders, I'll try my best to preserve your dignity. However, in front of me, you must obey me. You can't resist at all. In addition, I'll help you to improve your cultivation. Okay. Shi nodded. After sitting down, Night's sorrow thought for a while and said, then take off your skirt. Night's sorrow wanted to know if Shi was absolutely obedient. If she could do it, then there wouldn't be a problem. Can't I help you fight? She hesitated. If she really had to take off her clothes in front of Night's sorrow, then she would have nothing in front of Night's sorrow. It seems that you still don't remember what I meant when I said that you must obey me and you can't resist at all. Night's sorrow vibrated his soul power again. He didn't want to do it either, but he had to do it in one go and completely break down Shi's inner defense. She squatted down again and screamed while covering her head. After holding on for a while, she couldn't take it anymore and shouted for Night's sorrow to stop. Yi Sheng stopped the trembling of his soul power and looked at Shi. Biting her lips, Shi closed her eyes and untied her belt. She let her clothes slide off her body. Open your eyes, Night's sorrow said. Then, Shi opened her eyes and there was something sparkling in her eyes. This is the price you have to pay, Night's sorrow said. She looked at Night's sorrow and the disappointment in her heart was indescribable. In the past, Night's sorrow was just an ant that could be crushed at any time in her eyes. But now, he controlled her destiny. Just do what I want. Haven't you seen enough? She stared at Night's sorrow and spoke with a hint of arrogance in her words. Originally, looking at Shi's curvy body, Night's sorrow's lust rose in his heart. However, he planned to leave and didn't think of doing anything. But after listening to Shi's words, Night's sorrow stood up. He decided to cut off the last trace of Shi's pride. Taking a step forward, Night's sorrow pulled Shi and pushed her to the spiritual jade stone block that he was meditating on. Then, he untied his robe. Looking at Shi who was lying on the spiritual jade stone block, Night's sorrow pulled up one of her legs and rushed forward like an angry bird. Following the impact of Night's sorrow, Shi screamed and cried. Her body couldn't take it and she felt wronged. Night's sorrow had been suppressing it for a long time. At this time, he didn't have any scruples like when he was with Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei. He just rushed forward. After half an hour, Night's sorrow was finally done. However, there were no sequelae. He didn't want Shi to give him a child. After Night's sorrow was done, Shi was limp. If the last time didn't count, this was her first time. How could she withstand Night's sorrow's violent whipping? Rest well and cultivate. Remember my words. After tidying up his robe, Night's sorrow flashed and left the time-space pagoda. At this time, he was embarrassed to face Shi. Originally, he only wanted to subdue Shi as a fighter. But now, it wasn't as simple as subduing a fighter. There were other factors. After resting for a while, Shi picked up her skirt and put it back on. Then, she meditated and cultivated. In Shi's eyes, cultivation was everything. Even if her soul was controlled, cultivation was still the capital to be valued. Night's sorrow made a pot of tea and drank it to ease his mood. He felt that what he did was a little wrong. However, he didn't blame himself. It could only be said that everything was brought upon by Shi. After leaving the tent, Night's sorrow went to the water source again and asked Little Kong if he could get some water from the time-space pagoda. After hearing Night's sorrow's words, Little Kong replied that there was no problem. Chapter 739. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/small. Shuanet provides you with wonderful novels to read. Xiao Kong was also amazing. She directly created a pool in the space-time treasure pagoda. She was the master of the space-time treasure pagoda, so she could do whatever she wanted. Xiao Kong, move the pool to the higher levels, and also move her there. She will listen to me in the future, so cultivation is more important. It is good that she can recover as soon as possible, Night Sorrow said to Xiao Kong. Okay, get her to the 60th level. Any higher and it will be the power of space. It is meaningless for her. Xiao Kong communicated with Yi Shiwen. Okay, then move her and the pool to the 60th level, Night Sorrow said to Xiao Kong. Then Xiao Kong did as Night Sorrow said. Yin Shi, who had been moved, woke up from her meditation. Feeling the dense spirit qi in the pool, Yin Shi was stunned. She did not expect this situation. I don't like the feeling of emptiness here. It is very depressing. Next time I go to the city, I will buy things myself. Yin Shi said. Okay, this is where you live. If you make it stinky, you have to bear it. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. Bastard, what are you thinking? Even if my cultivation is greatly damaged, I am still a high-level venerable. How can this happen? Although she was controlled by Night Sorrow, Yin Shi could not help but curse. Okay then. I just want to remind you. If something happens, your god orb will vibrate and I will know. Night Sorrow said to Yin Shi and left the space-time treasure pagoda again. After Night Sorrow left, Yin Shi sat on the futon. She did not cultivate, but fell into deep thought. She had been in despair for the past few days, but now, Night Sorrow's attitude made her feel that Night Sorrow was not a bad person. She also had the desire to live in her heart. After leaving the space-time treasure pagoda, Night Sorrow took out the space splitter spear and started cultivating. He had completely let go of the matter with Yin Shi. He planned to go to the domain C to stabilize his cultivation. When his cultivation was completely stable, he could eat the dragon spirit pill and continue to improve his cultivation. Night Sorrow was cultivating when Wu Lingfei came over. Auntie Fei is here. Seeing Auntie Fei makes me feel at ease. Night Sorrow sat down at the tea table and said. Aunt Fei, don't say that. Along the way, you've helped me too much. Night Sorrow is truly grateful. Knowing Aunt Fei is Night Sorrow's fortune. Night Sorrow took the teapot and poured a cup of tea for Wu Lingfei. There's no need to be so courteous with Auntie Fei. Let's work hard together. The world is so chaotic right now. We can't do anything without strength, Wu Lingfei said. Auntie Fei, you don't have to be too tired. I will work hard. When I have the ability, I will take care of things. Night Sorrow nodded to Wu Lingfei. In Auntie Fei's eyes, you are the best. Don't tire yourself out. After instructing Night Sorrow and asking about Night Sorrow's soul avatar, Wu Lingfei left. Night Sorrow's avatar in the Phantom Dao Stone was becoming more and more solid. However, its size didn't increase by much. It was only half the size of a human head. If he wanted to cultivate it successfully, he still had a long way to go. Night Sorrow then entered the realm C and rushed toward the spatial storms. Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and Aoi were surprised when they saw Night Sorrow's figure. Chuyu, we didn't see Night Sorrow go out, right? Why did that guy come in from outside? Yang Lei, who was very close to Sikong Chuyu, asked. Yeah, I'm also very puzzled. Maybe he came out from somewhere else. Let's consolidate our cultivation. He improved faster than us in there. In addition, there was already a gap between us. If we don't work hard, the gap will only grow bigger. Sikong Chuyu said. She didn't want to be a vase. She wanted to be a woman who could fight side by side with Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow entered the area where he used to cultivate. Then, he used his movement technique and began to cultivate. After cultivating for a while, Night Sorrow entered the space-time pagoda and directly went to the 60th floor. Sensing Night Sorrow's arrival, Inshi opened her eyes. Looking at Inshi, Night Sorrow felt a little emotional. In the past, Inshi was arrogant and insufferably arrogant. Now that she didn't have such arrogance, she was more pleasing to the eye. She had a different style and a feminine charm. What do you want? You just did it this morning. Are you crazy? Seeing Night Sorrow's gaze, Inshi took 2 steps back. What dirty things are you thinking about? I'm cultivating in the spatial turbulence of the realm C. I consumed too much energy and came here to recover. Noticing Inshi's beast-like gaze, Night Sorrow said speechlessly. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Inshi heaved a sigh of relief. She was very scared. Although her first time was very short, it still caused a lot of damage to her body. This morning, Night Sorrow's wild impact was not something she could withstand. Will there be any drawbacks of your true chi being unstable if you cultivate quickly? Night Sorrow asked after thinking for a while. There will be, but it will be much faster than normal cultivation. After all, it's recovery, not improvement. Inshi said. Then come with me to the spatial turbulence of the realm C to cultivate, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. That won't do. If I suppress my cultivation, it won't have the effect of tempering. If I release my cultivation, those bastards will sense it. They will know my aura. Inshi said. Then it's up to you. Night Sorrow said and then sat down to recover. In the following days, Night Sorrow cultivated in the spatial turbulence. Inshi also cultivated on the 60th floor of the space-time pagoda. Her way of consolidating her cultivation was to cultivate her sword skills. Most %0 knew, Chapter J on F, Q. After another cultivation session, Night Sorrow entered the space-time pagoda. He planned to leave the realm C after recovering for a while and eat dragon spirit pills to improve his cultivation. My future can be said to be fighting for you. Can you teach me your body tempering cultivation method? Inshi looked at Night Sorrow and asked. During this period of time, the two of them got along well. Inshi didn't have too much hostility towards him. The two of them even burned with passion once. You can't cultivate this. You started from a low level. However, I can give you some resources to improve your blood chi. Night Sorrow said and took out 2 pieces of ice spirit blood essence. Inshi glanced at Night Sorrow and put away the ice spirit blood essence. I'll give you the treasures to replenish your blood chi. As for what you do with them, I don't care. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 740. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. Let's provide you with interesting novels to read. You're too shameless. You're still thinking about this? Night Sorrow looked at Inshi in surprise. This is also because you've done shameless things. You always act recklessly and don't leave me any blood essence power. Inshi looked at Night Sorrow and said angrily. What are you angry about? If I leave it for you, what if you have ulterior motives and make a child? Night Sorrow glared at Inshi. I won't do that. I'll refine it. Inshi made a promise. Okay, we'll talk about this later. Night Sorrow looked at Inshi and said. After recovering, Night Sorrow left the spatial storm area of the realm C. Night Sorrow came back just in time. The members of the god-slaying team were all resting. Seeing Night Sorrow come back, everyone called Night Sorrow to eat barbecue and drink wine together. Everyone is doing well. Cultivate hard. We don't lack elixirs and resources. If you need them, you can get them from Liyue. Night Sorrow sat beside Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, and Aoi and shouted to the others. Ha! Of course. We don't lack resources. Nan Liyue smiled. It's really good. Everyone is really hardworking. I used to think that my cultivation was crazy. Now, I realize that I'm lacking compared to everyone, Liang Yu said. What you need to improve is your cultivation. When your cultivation reaches a certain level, your cultivation must catch up. Night Sorrow reminded Liang Yu. After eating some barbecue, Night Sorrow returned to his tent. Aoi and the others followed Night Sorrow into the tent. 6th senior sister, 9th senior sister, and Chuyu, don't tire yourself out. Just do enough. Night Sorrow said. You should take care of yourself. No matter how hard we work, we won't be as tired as you. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow smiled and got up to make tea for the girls. You're really obedient today. Did you do something wrong to us? That shouldn't be the case. You're right under our noses, Yang Lei muttered. Night Sorrow was stunned for a moment. He couldn't help but admire a woman's sensitivity. He did feel a little guilty in his heart because he also had that kind of thing with Yin Shi, but he didn't expect Yang Lei to have this kind of awareness. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs.com, 13 must be tired. 9th junior sister, what are you mumbling about? Aoi said with a smile. After chatting for a while, everyone went to bed. Night Sorrow laid on the bed that Aoi had prepared for him. Night Sorrow pondered. He wondered if he had betrayed his feelings for Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu, and Aoi because of Yin Shi. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that he hadn't. Because he had no choice back then. Even if there was a continuation, it was a physical problem and had nothing to do with feelings. As he pondered, Night Sorrow fell asleep. After sleeping for a night, Night Sorrow felt refreshed when he woke up. After washing his face, Night Sorrow held the Space Splitter Spear and cultivated the spear's concept. As soon as Night Sorrow finished cultivating, Aoi called Night Sorrow over for breakfast. I had a good sleep last night. Night Sorrow put away the Space Splitter Spear and said as he stretched. When it's time to rest, you should take a break. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said. Her heart ached when she saw Night Sorrow cultivating with all his might. It's the same for you guys. Cultivation base isn't something that can be obtained in a day or two. Night Sorrow said while eating. After that, Night Sorrow told them about his plan to go into seclusion and consume the dragon spirit pill. Then, he told them to do it steadily. After seeing that the members of the god-slaying team had gone to cultivate, Night Sorrow went to visit Wu Lingfei again. Only then did he return to his tent and go into seclusion. He wanted to consume the dragon spirit pill and improve his cultivation base as soon as possible. While Night Sorrow was in seclusion, Tianyu was lying in front of the tent. It was also in a state of cultivation. It had already reached the peak of the void inquiry stage long ago. It was just that it had yet to break through to the venerable realm. On the 10th day of Night Sorrow's seclusion, Tianyu flew to Wu Lingfei's tent and pulled her to the entrance of Night Sorrow's tent. Then, it flew away. It asked me to guard Night Sorrow. Could it be that it's going to make a breakthrough? Wu Lingfei was very shocked. After that, she took out the spiritual jade block that Night Sorrow gave her and sat down in front of the entrance of Night Sorrow's tent. On the 20th day, Night Sorrow finished refining the dragon spirit pill and improved his cultivation base to the peak of the second level of the venerable realm as he wished. After stabilizing his cultivation base, Night Sorrow went out of the tent. He did not see Tianyu but saw Wu Lingfei who was meditating. Night Sorrow was very surprised. The pill has been refined. You have to pay attention to your foundation. Wu Lingfei stood up and kept the spiritual jade block. Wasn't Tianyu supposed to guard for me? How did it become anti-Fei? Night Sorrow asked as he led Wu Lingfei into the tent. This fellow might have gone to find a place to advance. When it appears again, it might be a venerable realm monster. Wu Lingfei said. That means that Tianyu is about to transform. Night Sorrow said excitedly. Hearing that Tianyu was about to enter the venerable realm, Night Sorrow was very happy. If Night Sorrow's first friend after leaving Bamboo Garden Village was Qin Zhen, then his first companion was Tianyu. It's hard to say. It depends on its own decision. Maybe it will transform into a human, or maybe it will maintain the body of a monster. Wu Lingfei said. Yi Shang nodded. He knew that when demonic beasts cultivated to the honorable realm, some would choose to take human form, while some would not. Take Long Xianqing for example, he did not take human form. His current human body was an illusion. Just as Night Sorrow was waiting anxiously, a long cry resounded in the sky. Night Sorrow's 3 steps turned into 2 as he rushed out of the tent. He could tell that it was Tianyu's cry. Only G is the official asterisk version, use G other U all A caret is the stolen F version. In the sky above the god-slaying squad's camp, Tianyu was circling back and forth, occasionally using a spatial jump. At this time, Tianyu's spatial jump was very far away. It was equivalent to disappearing into thin air and reappearing in another place. His flying speed was also very fast, leaving afterimages behind him. Tianyu did not transform. Night Sorrow suddenly felt a little disappointed. You don't have to think too much. This is his decision. He must have his own reasons. Wu Lingfei could feel Night Sorrow's disappointment. Night Sorrow nodded and looked at Tianyu, who was soaring in the sky. At this time, Tianyu's aura was shocking. Every time he flew, it was as though he was fighting with the sky. It was a real eagle soaring into the sky. After flying a few rounds, Tianyu used a spatial jump, then dived down and landed in front of Night Sorrow. The Tianyu that landed in front of Night Sorrow was no longer a handsome bird, but a young man in white robes. Night Sorrow looked at this young man and shook his head. He knew that this young man's body was an illusion. Night Sorrow, I am Tianyu. The young man in white robes, who was Tianyu, said. Why didn't you choose to transform? Yi Shan asked, puzzled. You still need a mount. I don't want you to not be used to it. This is also good, Tianyu said. Night Sorrow went up and hugged Tianyu. He didn't know that this was the reason Tianyu didn't transform. It was because Night Sorrow still needed a mount. Chapter 741. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow, perhaps Tianyu's decision was right. The Azure Rock is a rare beast on the ancient beast ranking. It's very talented. Keeping the Azure Rock's body will be beneficial to his future, and his combat strength will also increase. Wu Lingfei opened her mouth and said. That's right, Wu Lingfei said. In order to retain the Azure Rock body, I had to endure 2 lightning tribulations. Thankfully, I have comprehended the phantom body. Otherwise, I would have been in trouble, Tianyu said with a chuckle. $Q update D new hashtag #LmostJ. Hurry up X9, it's a good thing that you've successfully advanced. Let's drink to celebrate. By the way, you're an adult now, right? Night Sorrow said as he took out a jug of wine. Not yet. My body can still grow. That's why I've kept the Azure Rock body, Tianyu said. The Venerable One is still underage. Ha, Tianyu, your future is limitless, Night Sorrow said happily. It is indeed a good thing. Wu Lingfei was also happy for Tianyu. Night Sorrow, can I call you Brother Shirsan like Qin Zhen? Tianyu asked after taking a sip of wine. Naturally, we've always been brothers who fought side by side, Night Sorrow said with a smile. After drinking the wine, Wu Lingfei left. Night Sorrow's side was going well, so she felt more at ease. After drinking, Tianyu returned to his original form and rushed into the realm sea. He planned to cultivate in the spatial turbulence. Looking at Tianyu's figure, Night Sorrow didn't stop him. Tianyu had the space attribute. In the space turbulence, his ability to protect himself should be very strong. After that, Night Sorrow went to the chaotic streams of space in the realm sea to cultivate. As they watched Night Sorrow rush into the depths of the Realm Sea, the members of the god-slaying squad cultivated even more vigorously, as they knew that their captain's cultivation base had improved once again. "This guy is amazing," Liang Yu said with some emotion. "What's wrong with you? Half a month ago, didn't you cultivate up to the one with Heaven stage?" Ling Long asked Liang Yu. "I'll go back and break through in a bit. I'm not going to wait any longer. I can't afford to wait any longer. If I keep waiting, who knows how far this captain will run away." Liang Yu roared. Night Sorrow went deeper into the chaotic streams of space within the Realm Sea. Next, he began to temper his defensive barrier of true energy. After cultivating for 2 hours, Night Sorrow switched to his innate bloodline's protective barrier. When the two types of energy were almost exhausted, Night Sorrow's figure flashed into the space-time treasure pagoda. Late level 2 Venerable. What kind of cultivation speed is this? Seeing Night Sorrow enter, Yin Shi, who was originally cultivating, stood up. Night Sorrow took the teapot on the tea table in front of Yin Shi and poured himself a cup of water and said, "I have the dragon spirit pill, so of course my cultivation speed is not a problem. It's just that it takes time to consolidate my cultivation." Indeed, the dragon spirit pill is a heaven-defying pill. "Give me some more," Yin Shi said. "Didn't I give you 3? Night Sorrow said with a frown. 3? I refine 1 pill every 2 days and then consolidate it in 7 days. Why do you say 3 pills are not a problem?" Yin Shi said. "What's your cultivation level now?" Night Sorrow asked. "I've recovered to level 9 Venerable." Yin Shi glanced at Night Sorrow and said, "A high cultivation level is indeed powerful. Here are 20 pills. Use them as you see fit. If I find out that you don't care about your foundation and break the pot, I won't let you off." Night Sorrow took out a pill bottle and threw it to Yin Shi. 20 pills? Where did you get so many?" Yin Shi opened the pill bottle and took out the dragon spirit pill. After taking a look, she asked with some surprise, "Are the pills refined by me okay?" Night Sorrow said angrily. Yin Shi didn't have the awareness of a submissive and wanted to ask about everything. "At your age, you've cultivated to the venerable realm and are an alchemy grandmaster. You've even been recognized as the master of the pagoda of time and space. This is heaven-defying luck. I shouldn't have provoked you back then." Yin Shi muttered in a low voice. Instead of saying this to Night Sorrow, it was better to say it to herself. Regret? That night, Night Sorrow drank a mouthful of water and said, "Why do you have the origin energy in your body?" Yin Shi asked at this time. In the past, Yin Shi didn't have close contact with Night Sorrow and didn't pay much attention to observing him, so she didn't notice anything. However, after 2 skin-to-skin contact, Yin Shi discovered it. "Anyway, you're a grasshopper in my palm and can't jump out. It's okay to tell you. I have the sovereign attribute Heavenly Fate Jewel. I also have the sovereign attribute. It's just that I usually hide it with the black jade spiritual energy." Night Sorrow said. "Sovereign attribute?" Yin Shi looked at Night Sorrow from head to toe. After that, Night Sorrow activated his void chi without hiding it. A light purple protective chi circulated around Night Sorrow's body. It was very beautiful. Yin Shi took 2 steps back and her expression changed. "This is the void attribute. No wonder my soul power couldn't block your soul power attack. I guess your soul power is also of the void attribute." "Yes, it is." Night Sorrow nodded. Ji Yuhao said that his time sword chi couldn't cut your body. With the sovereign attribute protecting you, of course, his time sword chi couldn't hurt you. Yin Shi said. "No, at that time, my void chi wasn't as strong as it is now. The reason why his time sword chi couldn't hurt me was that my body was very strong. In addition, I have other high-level elemental energies that can restrain his time sword chi." Night Sorrow didn't hide anything from Yin Shi, who had completely controlled him. There are elemental energies that can restrain the time sword chi. She stared at Night Sorrow. Then, take a look at this. Night Sorrow activated the myriad Dao Tome's energy and performed the Desolation's hand. After performing the Desolation's hand, Night Sorrow's hand appeared. The scene changed quickly, with the merciless changes of time in the middle. Is this also the time sword chi? Shi's eyes were filled with fear. The power that Night Sorrow had displayed was too terrifying. It is the desolation power of the time sword chi. To be exact, it is the time sword chi. Ji Yuhao's time sword chi can slow down time, while my time sword chi can speed up time. We can control each other. After Night Sorrow withdrew the Desolation's hand, he sat down cross-legged and began to recover. Night Sorrow didn't want to show off in front of Shi. He just wanted to shock her and make her submit to him. In fact, Shi was really shocked. The talented Sumu, the time sword chi, Ji Yuhao, she knew that these people were nothing in front of Night Sorrow. Even if her cultivation was higher than Night Sorrow's, so what? Night Sorrow had the power to fight against people with higher cultivation. If he didn't have the power, he wouldn't have been able to turn the tables. After an hour, Night Sorrow had recovered to his peak state. He planned to go back to the space turbulence to continue his cultivation. Night Sorrow, can you be nicer to me? She looked at Night Sorrow and asked. As long as you are obedient, I can be nicer to you. What's the matter? Night Sorrow asked. Chapter 742. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Well, it's not appropriate for me to take it for free. I'll give you some top-grade spirit stones, but you should wait until you become a saint. At that time, the effect of the dragon spirit pill will not be great. Love go little say. Chu. Night Sorrow took out 10 top-grade spirit stones and handed them to Shi. Although Shi had been subdued and was no different from a maid, Night Sorrow did not want to exploit her. Sometimes, a man had to be responsible. As for the Holy Spirit Stone, Night Sorrow would not take it out. He had prepared it for himself in the future, and it was not a resource that could be exchanged casually. Besides, one Holy Spirit Stone could be exchanged for 100 top-grade Spirit Stones. At present, there was no resource that could be equal to the Holy Spirit Stone. So much. Shi was stunned. Well, take it. If you don't replenish your strength, when I need your help one day, you will be killed. Then, I will have wasted my energy to deal with you and wasted my resources to help you recover, Night Sorrow said. Kill me. Long Xiansheng and Xia Lanjun have cultivated longer than me. Otherwise, I would be afraid of them, Shi muttered. Love go little say, Chu, well, be humble. Night Sorrow said. If I hadn't met a shameless person like you, would I have gone mad and capsized? Shi was very conflicted when it came to this issue. You don't have such a big mouth. If you can't eat such a big thing, who can you blame? Night Sorrow said and left the time-space pagoda. He entered the space turbulence and began to cultivate. After Yi Shang left, Shi had no target to scold even if she wanted to. Of course, she knew what Yi Shang meant. She really couldn't bear Yi Shang's greatness, but it wouldn't be nice to say it. In the space turbulence, Night Sorrow practiced his movement technique and also sharpened his newly improved True Qi. If sharpening the Qi shield was to increase the density of True Qi, then using the spear to fight with the space turbulence was to cultivate the degree of control of True Qi. 2 hours later, Night Sorrow returned to the space-time pagoda. Can I have a cup of hot tea? Night Sorrow asked as he took out a jade stool and sat down. Look at D. Version of chapter HF on. After hesitating for a while, Shi still did it. Night Sorrow, I have something to say. That day, if it wasn't for my sudden problem, did you have other methods? She looked at Night Sorrow and asked. She knew that what happened that day was an accident, and now she understood that Night Sorrow must have other trump cards. That day, you acted a little too early and messed up my plan. If you had acted a little later, I would have broken the seal on my primary energy. Then, I would have used the Night Moon Dynasty's innate skill, spatial rend, to tear apart space and escape. In truth, I was just a little bit late, but the result would have been completely different, Night Sorrow said. In other words, if I hadn't acted that day and was a little late, you would have used spatial rend to escape. She asked. Yes, so you were a little unlucky. But it's over, so don't think about it anymore. Since fate is like this, then cherish the future, Night Sorrow said. Maybe you're right. She nodded. Night Sorrow drank a cup of tea and meditated to recover his cultivation. After recovering for a while, Night Sorrow continued to cultivate in the space turbulence. Don't be confused. Night Sorrow has such achievements at his age. It's not a coincidence. He worked hard enough. The harder he works, the luckier he gets, Shao Kong said. Shao Kong didn't have the ability to speak in other places, but she could in the space-time pagoda. She nodded and meditated to cultivate. This was the benefit of having a high state of mind. Many things could be understood by thinking about it. Now that things had come to this, she knew that it was useless to resist. She might as well make some achievements in her cultivation and live a better life on the current premise. She was also glad that Night Sorrow had a big heart. Even though he had subdued her, he didn't make things too difficult for her. After cultivating again, she spoke when she was about to recover. I've refined your ice spirit blood essence. I still need to improve my chi and blood power. Baidu search AI go xiao shua www.aichuX.com. Are you eating resources? Can I afford to raise them? Yishan said with some surprise. Don't you have ready-made ones? Give them to me now. Shi's face was a little red. You have a bottom line. I don't have any more ice spirit blood essence, but I have better ones. Take it easy. Night Sorrow took out 2 black tortoise crystals. If I cultivate like this, won't I be your fighter in the future? Shi took the black tortoise crystals and said. What did you say just now? You want mine? Then I'll give it to you. Little Kong, you hide. Night Sorrow was also a little tired from cultivating. He was a little angry when he heard Shi's words. Little Kong was very obedient. He left immediately and went to the other layers. This time, Shi was very cooperative. Plus, she was already used to it, so she was very crazy. Remember, this is for you to improve your cultivation. If you dare to scheme against me, I won't tolerate it. No matter what the situation is, I won't tolerate it. Night Sorrow said to Shi after he tidied up his robe. Looking at Night Sorrow's eyes, Shi nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow was serious. There were some bottom lines that a man couldn't cross. Yishang was meditating to recover. Shi also put on her silk dress and went to cultivate. She was refining Yishang's yang qi according to the cultivation method that she had tricked her into. She was using it to strengthen her own qi, blood, and essence qi. After recovering, Night Sorrow continued to cultivate in the spatial turbulence. He knew that Shi's matter was still troublesome, so he could only keep it hidden. Once Shi showed up, Sikong Chuyu, Aoi, and Yang Lei would definitely be angry. Yang Lei would definitely be furious. After cultivating for half a month, Night Sorrow realized that something was wrong. The spatial turbulence became violent. This situation made Night Sorrow retreat. He wanted to train himself, but he wasn't going to play with his life. While retreating, Night Sorrow discovered a special situation. There were loach-like creatures in the spatial turbulence. These creatures were very fast and there were many of them. One of them was even rushing towards Night Sorrow. Unable to see the creature's cultivation, Night Sorrow waved his space-splitting spear and attacked. The creature was sent flying by Night Sorrow's spear. However, it was fine. With a shake of its body, it rushed towards Yishuan's head again. Slash! There wasn't enough time to attack again. Night Sorrow executed the soul-destroying slash and directly slashed at the pitch-black loach creature. This pitch-black creature was hit by Night Sorrow's soul-destroying slash. It twitched for a while and then stopped moving. Night Sorrow grabbed the body of this pitch-black creature with his left hand and retreated outside. This was because many such creatures had appeared at this time. Night Sorrow used his spatial energy shield to rush outside at his fastest speed. These pitch-black creatures started to chase after him at an extremely fast speed. They weren't afraid of the spatial turbulence at all. Retreat! Everyone, retreat quickly. Hurry to the shore. Night Sorrow shouted when he was not far away from the members of the god-slaying team. Then, he turned around and attacked with his spear. He couldn't bring danger to the members of the god-slaying team. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear couldn't kill these creatures. It could only send them flying. At this time, he executed his fastest spear technique because there were too many dark creatures. Chapter 743. Genius remembers love in 1 second / small. I'll provide you with some wonderful novels to read. After using spatial rend, Night Sorrow's figure flashed into it. At the same time, he waved his arm and closed the spatial tunnel. Then, he controlled his body to travel through the turbulence. 10 miles, 20 miles. When he was 20 miles away, Night Sorrow sensed that he was out of the turbulent space. He used spatial rend again and walked out of the spatial rift. Then, his figure flashed a few times and arrived at the edge of the realm sea. "Captain, what are you doing?" Liang Yu asked in astonishment when he saw Night Sorrow appear out of thin air. He didn't understand. "Let's talk about this later. From today onwards, without my orders, no one is allowed to take half a step into the realm sea. Xue Ling, Ho Jian, when you see the team return, stay in the camp and cultivate." Night Sorrow gave the order to Liang Yu. It wasn't that Night Sorrow was nervous. He knew that this black loach was too terrifying. He knew how powerful his spear attack was. Even so, he couldn't kill it. Anyone else who encountered it would be dead. Night Sorrow went to Wu Lingfei's tent. "Aunt Fei, what kind of creature is this?" Night Sorrow took out the corpse of the black creature he killed with soul-extinguishing slash. "It's in the turbulent space of the realm sea. There are too many of them. If I didn't run quickly, I would have been surrounded. This creature isn't afraid of my spear attack." Night Sorrow said. "This is serious. Let's go find Long Xiansheng," Wu Lingfei said. Then, Wu Lingfei brought Night Sorrow to the eastern Xian region's camp. Looking at the black creature's corpse, Long Xiansheng nodded. "It's a spatial soul-eater beast. Now, our people can no longer enter the turbulent space of the realm sea to cultivate. It's very difficult to kill them." Following Long Xuansheng's explanation, Night Sorrow learned what a spatial soul-eater beast was. The spatial soul-devouring beast was a creature that lived in the spatial turbulence. Their defense was extremely strong, and it was difficult for swords to injure them. Their speed was extremely fast, and they could almost ignore the defense of chi shields. They were good at shuttling through the spatial turbulence, so breaking through a cultivator's chi shield was not difficult. The spatial soul-eater beast loved to devour the soul energy of creatures and was most afraid of soul energy attacks. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow could kill it, but it was very difficult for others to do so. This should be the space soul-devouring beast that was suppressed in the space below the Clear Sky City. The Clear Sky City has been rising, so the space soul-devouring beast below has appeared. This has increased the difficulty of entering the Clear Sky City. Long Xianqing said. "That's right. Even venerables can't face the encirclement of the soul-eater beasts," Wu Lingfei said. "Does that mean that no one below the Saint stage can get close to Haotian City?" Night Sorrow asked in surprise. "That's not it. The space soul-eater beast likes to live in the turbulent space. Once the energy around Haotian City dissipates, they will naturally leave. Long Xianqing said. That's good. Night Sorrow breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't want to lose the opportunity to explore the Clear Sky City. Hurry up and get on J.E., don't go to the Domain C to cultivate for the time being. Go back. Do what you need to do. When the Clear Sky City appears, I will send someone to inform you. Long Xianqing looked at Night Sorrow and said. All right, then I will take them back first. Night Sorrow nodded. Then Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei left the camp of the Eastern Profound Domain. Looking at Night Sorrow, Wu Lingfei said, then I will send you back to the city in the sky. You also need to rest. Auntie Fei, you do what you need to do. I will be fine. She will not touch me again. I don't care about the others. I am not afraid of anyone who wants to fight. Night Sorrow said. But Auntie Fei is still worried. Wu Lingfei said. Auntie Fei, I enjoy your protection, but I am not young anymore. You can rest assured. Night Sorrow said. That's fine. She won't touch you, but you still have to be careful. There are still remnants of the Windy Dynasty. You're famous now, and all the cultivators of the 9 realms know about you. They all know that if they defeat or kill you, they'll get fate. That's the source of all the trouble, said Wu Lingfei to Yishang. I will be careful. Night Sorrow said with a smile. You also have to be careful of the Jiyu family. We have received news that Jiyu Fenglan has entered the Saint Realm. He is a space saint and has strong combat power. You have a grudge against the Jiyu family. They will not let you grow. This bastard is really malicious. Night Sorrow cursed. The Jiyu family is an old family. They still have their own luck and won't fall so easily. Also, the 7-star saint has also appeared. He is not on the same side as us. The 7-star dynasty will still make a move. Wu Lingfei told him about the recent developments of the 9 regions. The world is really chaotic. Night Sorrow rubbed his hair and said. Yes, the 9 regions world is very complicated. Some hidden cultivators will come out because this is a time of chaos and great battles, said Wu Lingfei. There are many saints. Didn't they say that without source stones and saint crystals, it is impossible to comprehend the power of laws? Night Sorrow asked in puzzlement. Think about it. Didn't the Sea Heart Island in the Northern Sea region display the power of laws? When we went to the Death Domain, did the Heaven Vault display the power of laws? Some peak paragons would have a chance to enter the Saint Realm if they found such a place. This is also the reason why Yun Tianlong wanted to seize the Sea Heart Island. That is a place that can create saints. Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow. Wu Lingfei was usually a person of few words. But when she was with Night Sorrow, she was very patient. As long as there was something Night Sorrow didn't understand, she would explain it in detail. I understand. With the appearance of Clear Sky City, some hidden experts will jump out. Night Sorrow said. Yes. Also, ordinary powers wouldn't be able to nurture a peak paragon. In other words, the saints who can cultivate in special environments are all the ancestors of the various powers. Among them, there might be people from the various dynasties who are a match for the Night Moon dynasty. Wu Lingfei explained to Night Sorrow. I understand. I will be careful. Aunt Fei, thank you. Night Sorrow bowed to Wu Lingfei. There's no need to be so polite with Aunt Fei. If there's anything, just tell Aunt Fei. You are the closest person to Aunt Fei in this world. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. After that, Night Sorrow left. He really wanted to tell Wu Lingfei about Yin Shi, but he was worried that Wu Lingfei wouldn't forgive him. Because, this matter was a little too shameless and went overboard. After walking for a distance, Night Sorrow stopped. Night Sorrow, don't tell me you intend to tell Wu Lingfei about this matter. Yin Shi spoke, you're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.